over 7,300 players began.
Yes!
Now, just 78 remain. And for the first time, winning is not just fantasy, but a real possibility.
All the way, baby.
With that realization comes real heartache, real joy, real pressure.
One card.
The chip leaders are beginning to move away from the pack, and leading the charge is Theo Jorgensen of Denmark.
Wow, I played that well.
But a throng of talented young guns, including Matt Affleck, are still in the hunt.
Easy game, boys.
And some of the game's top pros still remain, headlined by the grinder, Michael Mizrachi, who continues his quest for the bracelet and the Player of the Year title.
Yes!
Hold on to your seats, because the real run for the championship begins now.
Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
Welcome to the Rio and the World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. I'm Lon McCarran with Norman Chad. It's day 7, and gone are the masses of poker hopefuls. In their place, 78 true contenders. Just 9 tables remain, and as players begin to stack their chips, they're also sizing up the competition.
I got you covered?
Slightly, I think, yeah.
No one in the room has Theo Jorgensen covered. He is the leader with almost 9.3 million chips. Sharing the spotlight is the grinder, Michael Mizrachi, who's second in chips with over 7.5 million. And of course, one-time chip leaders Filippo Candio and Matt Affleck also remain threats. Sitting at table 2 is 21-year-old Evan Lamprea, one of 3 players remaining who could become the youngest ever main event champion. Also at table 2 is William Thorson of Sweden, 5th in chips with over 6.5 million. Meanwhile, at the featured table, we have a bevy of outstanding players.
24-year-old pro John Racener is currently 3rd in chips with 7.2 million. The always dapper Tony Dunst is one of the short stacks with over 1.5 million. But the smallest stack at the table is perhaps the man with the biggest personality, Jean-Robert Bellande, with just under 700,000 chips.
We gotta gamble. You know, I'm always known as saying, I don't want to be lucky, I just don't want to be unlucky. Today, I want to be lucky. I want to get my money in with the worst hand, suck out, double up, and then finally when I got a lot of chips, then we can start playing some regular poker.
It's a plan.
Here are our day 7 chip leaders. Theo Jorgensen of Denmark atop the list, the only player with over 9 million. Michael Mizrachi and John Racener are next in line. Soy Wen and Joseph Cheong round out the top 10, each with over 5.5 million. The chip average 2.8 million. Blinds at 25,000 and 50,000 on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam Ace King for Bellande.
His motto is broke but living like a millionaire. What a character. And I'm sorry, Lon, why is he looking at his neighbor?
He's wondering what 21-year-old Matt Harris might do after him.
I'm all in.
Bellande moves all in for 680,000.
I feel sorry for Harris. First time ever in the U.S. He's got to deal with Jean-Robert.
He folds to Dewey Lay.
Well, Jean-Robert does need someone to call him with a pocket pair so he can have the worst hand.
Dewey Lay folds to John Racener. King Queen.
He loves his bubblegum.
How much is it?
680,000.
Less than 10% of Racener's stack to call this.
And Jean-Robert is short. He could be pushing with a wide range of hands.
Racener will not make the call.
Not in a gambling mood.
Racener will not be the one to burst Jean-Robert's main event bubble. To Tony Dunst now in the big blind. Queen Jack, he
Come
folds.
on, John, I need a call, buddy.
Bellande shows his ace king.
I need a call.
You had me dominated.
Huh?
Had king queen.
You had king queen?
Yeah.
Shut up, you did not fold king queen. Oh man, I feel robbed.
Robbed and still almost broke.
Much to the chagrin of Jean-Robert Bellande, he'll have to wait for another hand to pick up some much-needed chips and stay in the game here on day 7. As Jean-Robert Bellande knows, the main event is certainly about survival, but eventually players need to make their move. Well, Norman, the remaining few can now sense poker immortality is within their grasp, and no one will let that slip away without a fight.
Lon, forget about poker strategy for a sec. 2 simple Latin phrases define what these players must do. 1, carpe diem, seize the day. You've got to want it. You've got to grab the November 9 by the throat. But how do you do it? 2, salum floppus res. Every flop matters. Salum floppus res. Because you know, every flop does matter. So yes, carpe diem, but before you can seize it, you better flop it.
78 players left, each trying to become a member of this year's November 9. Here's a look at the chip denominations. The orange chips worth $5,000, the green chips $25,000, the lavender chips $100,000 each.
I love lavender chips.
One player who has his fair share of those lavender chips is Michael Mizrachi. He began the day second in chips. He might lose a few of them right here, though. Grinder flopped 2 pair, called the all-in of Mikhail Sipkins on the turn. Sipkins with queens up is favored. The river card is a jack, and Sipkins will double up thanks to his pocket queens.
If the 21-year-old wins the main event, he would be the youngest ever, beating Joe Cata's record.
Not the start of the day Grinder is looking for. He's still, though, among the chip leaders. Everyone left knows they could be in for a late night. Might as well get comfortable. Those are the sneakers of German pro basketball player Michael Skinder.
Big feet.
Skinder just bluff raised the flop to $700,000 against the kings of Evgeny Schneider.
It's a battle of the blinds, and Skinder trying to push Schneider off a top pair.
Schneider needs over $500,000 to call. But he's going to lay him down.
Man, I'll show you.
Skinder shows the bluff.
I'll show you 10 high. I don't care. No money scared, baby. No money scared. Let's go. We play today. Crunch time.
Big feet, big bluff, and he loves to show them.
Not sure if Schneider's more annoyed at himself for folding or at Skinder's celebration. All right, let's get back to the feature table where Jean-Robert Bellande still managing to survive despite his small chip stack. Bellande picked up $115,000 in blinds and antes. Last time everyone folded to him, Racener looks down at King 8. He folds. Jeff Banghart, the owner of a lawn sprinkler company, known as Mr. Rain, with pocket jacks.
Banghart, an amateur from Nebraska, so you don't expect to see him go deep. Yet here he is again with another deep run after finishing 41st in the 07 main event.
From under the gun +2, he raises to $130,000 to Bellande. Queen 10 of diamonds on the button.
Jean-Robert considering his options with 16 big blinds left.
I raise.
He says raise. He knows his chips won't last long just sitting around doing nothing.
I'm all in.
And he moves all in for his last $815,000.
And it looks like he's going to get his wish of pushing with the worst hand.
So Bellande all in. Over to Dewey Lay. Lay with ace queen.
He's got a raise and a re-raise all in front of him.
Dewey Lay in the big blind. And he's going to re-pop it to just over $1 million back to Banghart.
It's pretty sick.
It's pretty sick, Lon.
Banghart with pocket jacks.
I'm never folding to him.
Whatever Banghart does, Jean-Robert is in bad shape.
Guy folding face up.
He folds pocket jacks. He's my hero, Norman.
Well, Banghart's not going to like it when he sees this.
All right, the two players reveal their hands. Yeah. And you're right about Banghart.
That's what you wanted.
Well,
I knew I
didn't want a queen.
You wanted the worst hand.
Oh, yeah, I do. I definitely wanted the worst hand.
You got what you wanted.
Okay.
Bellande wanted the worst hand. He's got it. Now
Let's
comes the
flop a 10.
hard part,
Come on, we need
sucking
a
out
10.
and doubling up. Banghart succumbed to Lay's aggression.
Diamonds. Do this.
Jean-Robert Bellande with all his chips in the middle. The flop. King 4 trade. Dewey Lay still in good shape to knock Bellande out.
You know, Jean-Robert is thinking, I am due to put a bad beat on somebody.
Turn card. 5 of clubs. One more chance for Jean-Robert.
Good luck, man.
Lay just one card away from making this a much quieter feature table.
Come on, 10 on the river.
A 10 and a 10 only saves Jean-Robert Bellande.
The river card now is a jack. Lay with ace-high wins. Sorry about the pocket jacks, Jeff. Jean-Robert gone in 78th place.
Jean-Robert takes his leave.
All right.
Jeff Banghart won't sleep well tonight thinking about that hand.
Dewey Lay with the knockout. He's up to over 4.7 million chips. Jean-Robert Bellande earns almost $95,000 and walks away as the first Day 7 casualty of this pressure-packed main event. Back at the Rio, there is Jean-Robert Bellande as he walks out of the poker room as the first player knocked out here on Day 7. It looks like Adam Eder is going to be right behind him. He has just been eliminated in 77th place. And perhaps joining them on the rail could be Mark Maloche. Maloche moved all in with trip 9s and a queen kicker and a gut shot. He was called by Ben Stotts with trip 9s and an ace kicker.
They would chop the pot if a 10 or 8 comes on the river. Maloche would win it all with a queen or a jack, otherwise he's gone.
River cards a king, and Ben Stotts with his ace kicker wins the hand and eliminates Milosh.
Stotts, a 32-year-old amateur, the CEO of a proprietary firm in New York City.
Across the room, Peter Jetton hoping his pocket queens will hold up against the ace-jack of John Dolan. Jetton all in pre-flop for $780,000.
And Jetton went all in with 15 big blinds left.
Anybody folding ace for me?
Over 1.7 million chips in the pot. Here's the flop. Deuce 9-9. Jetton with queens up now.
Very safe flop for Jetton.
Turn card. 8 of spades. Dolan got no help there. Jetton still good.
Very safe turn for Peter Jetton. Only a river ace will knock him out.
The river card is a 6, and Peter Jetton will double up through John Dolan.
780.
Dolan doesn't look like he wants to part with the $780,000.
So Jetton will survive, but he's still more than 1 million chips below the chip average in the room right now. Over 2 chip leader Theo Jorgensen of Denmark with a busted flush draw. He just bet $500,000 into James Manning, who has pocket tens and the check mark.
Jorgensen bet on the turn when he picked up the flush draw, and now he's fired again after he missed it.
Little young gun that you're trying to bully, right?
Jorgensen is not a young gun. He's 38.
2 pair on the board.
Can't play scared.
And he makes the call.
Nice call.
And it's a good call with his pocket tens to take that pot.
Manning sniffs out the bluff.
Shouldn't have told me you were a Dane. I might have laid it down.
Loose lips, sink chips.
Is Danes worse than Swedes?
No,
you guys play better.
No, y'all play better.
I think.
I would agree with that.
Theo's been good friends with another famous poker-playing Dane, Gus Hansen. They've been ultra-competitive with each other for years and once tested their mettle inside a boxing ring.
The boxing fight came up after a game of squash where I just got my kicked. I'm sitting outside in a very mood, and he starts shadow boxing. And it looks so ridiculous that I say, well, if you want to have a game of that, we can start a fight. Let's do that for 3 rounds. And $35,000. Gus's crew came up with the idea of renting a big arena, and suddenly there was 2,500 people watching it. The one thing I disliked most about it was I think in the first round where I hit him, I can see it hurts. You're standing up there with one of your very good friends, and you have to hit him in the face.
The winner, Theo!
It was very important to win. And now every time he gets a little cocky or something, I always tell him, shh, don't upset that one. Okay, shh, be quiet. It might get upset.
I watched 40 seconds of that fight online, determined it was not Ali Frazier, and quietly surfed to another site.
All right, let's go over to table 2 to another accomplished European player, William Thorson, a poker pro since he was 18. He's 27 now. He looks down at 4 tray.
What I would do for a head of hair like that.
He folds to Evan Lamprey.
Lamprey, McKeel, Sipkins, and Michael Wyrot with a chance of breaking Joe Cata's record as youngest main event champ.
He folded to Ronnie Barta in the small blind, still enjoying his first World Series cash, ace-9.
At the end of day 6, Barta announced that if he makes the November 9, he'll do the moonwalk around the Rio naked.
He raised to $140,000, 4-6 of diamonds for Jacob Tustensen, another poker-playing Dane.
Tustensen, a part-time student at the University of Southern Denmark. I believe they are the Rambling Wreck.
He calls from the big blind.
I believe moonwalking is more difficult when you're naked.
Here's the flop. 7 tray queen. Barta's ace high is still best. Tustensen with a gut shot.
Saloom floppus race, Lon. Every flop matters.
Barta bets $155,000. The Dane now, 24-year-old. Tustensen makes the call.
Moonwalk around the Rio? I couldn't do that if I were on roller skates.
Turn card 5 of hearts. Tustensen hits his 7 high straight. Barta with a nut flush draw.
Every flop might matter, but sometimes the turn matters more.
Barta now bets it. He may think his ace high is best. $295,000.
Nah, he's bluffing at it again, but of course this time he's picked up the nut flush draw.
Tustensen just with a call with his straight.
You know, Barta might be moonwalking to the cashier's cage pretty soon.
River card, king of hearts, runner, nut flush for Barta. He gets the check mark.
Flops matter, turns matter more, rivers matter most.
Barta with $500,000.
And now the Dane getting 3.5 to 1 on a call. I don't think he can get away from the straight.
I call.
He does make the call. He pays Barta off, and boy, did Tucson get sucker punched.
And you know, Lon, maybe we will get to see Ronnie Barta's naked moonwalk in November. Forgive me, I may look away.
A good day so far for the Massachusetts Poker Pro. He's up to almost 3 million chips. Back to the featured table now. We see John Racener still working the gum with a vengeance. And we have a new player at this table, Denis Pisarov of Russia.
He's chewing gum too?
Action over to fellow Russian Sergei Rybachenko, also chewing gum.
3 guys chewing? What is this, the World Series of Rodeo?
Pocket fives for Rybachenko. From under the gun, he raises to $120,000.
The thing with chewing gum, I just gotta believe it gives opponents another possible tell.
Folded to Matt Harris. He's pretending to chew gum. He's got pocket kings.
I'm all in.
And he moves all in for just over $1 million.
20 big blinds left for Harris.
Action over to Dewey Lay. He folds. John Racener, the big stack at the table. 10 deuce from the button. And he lays it down.
Jeff Banghart's chewing gum? Uh-oh, now it makes sense.
He's got pocket queens.
I'm all in.
And he's all in.
See, Jeff brought a pack of double mint from Nebraska and asked if anyone wanted any. People from the Midwest are nice that way.
Rybachenko folds, so now Banghart with his queens will be at risk against the kings of Harris.
Jeff's gonna have to chew on the fact that he missed an opportunity with his jacks earlier. His queens and his tournament life are on the line right now.
So young Matt Harris has Banghart in trouble.
I need a lot of help. Put a queen out there one time.
Put 3 hearts.
Here's the flop, and there's a king for Harris, and that nearly shuts the door on Banghart.
Banghart's gone from needing a lot of help to needing divine assistance.
Jack of hearts.
Turn card now. Is the Jack of Hearts.
Jeff's got a pipeline to a poker god.
What else you got for
He's
me?
got an up and down straight draw.
The 9 or the ace?
A 9 or an ace keeps Banghart around.
Gotta call it, you gotta call it.
9 of diamonds.
I think it's the 9 of diamonds.
9 of diamonds.
I like your pick.
9 of diamonds.
The river card is a 6. And Banghart eliminated in 75th place by young Matt Harris.
Good answer. Good answer.
The nice kid without the gum knocks out the nice man with the gum.
Banghart will not better his 41st place finish in 07, but should be proud of another deep main event run. All his chips go to World Series rookie Matt Harris and his bid for a world championship. The main event has crowned 9 foreign-born world champions. This elite group includes the likes of Scotty Nguyen, Jerry Yang, and the immortal Johnny Chan.
Johnny Chan, the master.
In 2008, Peter Eastgate joined this exclusive club, further showing that the World Series is truly an international event. With just 72 players remaining here at the Rio, 12 foreign countries are currently represented. One of the more high-profile foreign players is David Benjamin of France. He started the day short stack, looking to get some traction. Across the room, the biggest stack is that of Denmark's Theo Jorgensen. Jorgensen looking on as Brazilian Eduardo Paras with aces has 2 players at risk. Joe Morgan with pocket kings, and Habib Khanis with queen jack of hearts.
Paras with aces up in commanding position for a double knockout.
Big moment for Paras, turn card. 8 of hearts, Khanis with straight and flush draws.
Wow, look at the ounce.
Khanis looks skyward to the poker gods and asks for a heart or a 10. Paras hoping his pocket aces hold up for a double knockout. Morgan has to have a king or he's gone.
The river card, 7 of spades. And with the pocket aces, Paras scores a double knockout. 55-year-old San Diegan Habib Khanis gone in 72nd place, while Joe Morgan, 25-year-old from Cincinnati, gone in 71st.
And Eduardo Paras has more than tripled up today.
You're right, Norman. The Brazilian up to over 3.7 million chips. All right, let's go check in on 28-year-old pro Adam Levy with kings. He could also send a player to the rail. Pierre Canali in trouble with ace-king.
It's France versus America, Lon. I like our chances.
How about a deuce or a deuce and then a deuce or a deuce?
He's not looking at it.
The turn card now with Canali at risk is a 4. Canali picks up a wheel draw.
You gotta sweat the 3. You gotta sweat the 3.
I'm gonna stand up.
Don't stand up, Adam. Those stripes could disorient the dealers. Canali has to have an ace or a 3.
River card is a 10, and Adam Levy with his pocket kings knocks off Pierre Canali, who wins over $114,000.
How many euros is that?
I'm not sure about that, but I know that Adam Levy has $3.1 million in World Series of Poker chips. All right, let's go over to the featured table and check in on Tony Dunst.
Tony Dunst goes to where the action is.
You know if I get all in, I'm going to come try and get a kiss for good luck.
For Megan?
Either or.
Okay.
That's my kind of guy.
I might go for the double up.
Oh, Tony Dunst working overtime, working for the title and working the room.
Of course, Tony and the rest of the players really focused on poker's ultimate prize, the main event bracelet. 2 new players here, bracelet winner Hassan Habib with 1.9 million chips, and 61-year-old retiree Jim McCrink, the oldest player left in the main event. Action on Dewey Lay with pocket tens.
He studied political science at UC Davis, been playing professionally for about 6 years.
He's going to raise it up to 120,000 to John Racener with 6 tray of clubs. Racer not folding 6 tray. He's going to re-raise it to 310,000.
See, if he's not chewing gum, I don't know if he does that. Certain gums, certain flavors induce aggression. And look, Tony Dunst is going to go work his second job.
The re-raise back to Dewey Lay with his pocket tens. He makes the call for 190,000 more.
Lay certainly doesn't like playing John Racener out of position, but he will.
Here's the flop now. It is 8-10, 9 Lay comes up big with a set of tens. Racener with a gut shot straight draw. Lay slow plays it.
Well, I'm surprised he slow played it. You know, Racener could have a queen or a jack in his hand. You don't want to give the straight draw a free ride.
Racener bets almost half the pot, 375,000.
And Racener does have a straight draw with a 6, and he decides to bet it.
Lay just with the call.
See, he stopped chewing. It could be a tell.
All right, here they go to the turn. It's a 7 of clubs. Racener fills his straight to the 10.
Oh, I protest that card, Lon. John Racener has been rewarded for no good reason.
Lay checks again.
First one he was bluffing, now when he hit the straight, Racener totally frozen, and he stopped chewing.
Racener checks. River card, 4 of clubs. John Racener, with his straight, has the check mark.
But Dewey Lay thinks he's safe now.
With his 3 tens, bets 425,000.
And Racener might be worried Lay made a bigger straight on the turn.
Call. John Racener makes the call. Dewey Lay shows his set, but that will be second best to Racener's straight.
Look who's chewing again. Nice hand translates there to you lucky gum chewing stiff.
That's 6 in the hole, earned Racener a 2.3 million chip pot.
And Racener can blow a bubble now.
He's the second biggest stack in the room. Back at the Rio, day 7 of the main event. Just 66 players remain. The average chip stack just over 3.3 million. The chip leader still Theo Jorgensen of Denmark. There is Sweden's William Thorson at table 2. He began the day 5th in chips. With King Jack, he'll see a flop with poker pro Gabe Costner of Biloxi, Mississippi, holding Ace Queen. The flop 5 deuce 10. Costner still best.
Every flop matters, even the ones you miss. Someone should bet at it.
Costner does not.
Well then, Thorson should.
Thorson? Check. Does not.
I can't bet for them.
They'll see a turn card. Jack of hearts. Thorson pairs his jack to take the lead. Costner with a Broadway draw and will bet 150,000.
That's a belated stab at this pot.
Thorson with top pair makes the call.
And Thorson shoots Costner an Ushka look.
River card is a king, and Costner rivers Broadway, while Thorson improved to kings up.
Oh man, runner, Broadway?
475,000 from Costner with the check mark.
Now we've got a lucky non-gum chewing stiff. Boy, if I'm Thorson, I gotta figure kings up is good here.
Thorson makes the call. But Costner will take that $1.5 million chip pot with the straight.
It's hard to lose that hand with top 2 and that head of hair.
You kind of knew it too, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. Still can't fold. You might bet with king 10. So
yeah, you can't fold it. Good read there.
Well, maybe a good read by Thorson, but that's little consolation. He takes a hit to his stack. He's lost over 1 million chips here on day 7, but still sits with over 5.4 million. One of Thorson's good friends, Norwegian pro Johnny Lodden, is in a hand right now. Lodden is best with ace high, going against Canadian Jonathan Driscoll with just queen high. 1 card to come.
Driscoll, the apple farmer from Quebec.
River card, and Lodden pairs his ace on the river and gets the check mark. Driscoll, who his friends call Johnny Appleseed, bets 600,000.
Driscoll bluffs at it.
Lodden makes the call and will take that almost 3 million chip pot from Driscoll.
Driscoll looks disgusted.
Nothing. Nice catch.
You can't kid a kidder. Johnny Lodden thought he was being scallywagged, and he was right. Though if the river were a blank, I wonder if he makes that call.
Lodden above the chip average right now. He sits with over 3.5 million. Over to someone who started day 7 with over 3 times the average. Theo Jorgensen in a hand with Eric Baldwin. Baldwin checked the flop with pocket 10s. He's wise to be careful against Jorgensen's kings. Jorgensen bet 375, and now Baldwin makes the call.
Baldwin in dangerous territory here. Eric might have thought of raising there with the overpair to the board.
Queen on the turn. Jorgensen still with a huge advantage. Baldwin checked again. Jorgensen checks. River card. Deuce of hearts. Jorgensen with the check mark. Baldwin first to act with his second rate 10s. Bet 640,000. A quick call from Jorgensen, and he'll take that pot.
Baldwin thought he was best. Eric getting a bit short, just over 30 big blinds left. The warning lights go off at 20.
At the other end of the spectrum, Jorgensen, the first player to crack the 10 million chip mark. He has 10.9 million. Elsewhere, Michael Mizrachi has been having a rough day so far, and that makes it doubly tough on his wife, Lily. Michael dueling with Filippo Candio, who just bet 425,000 on the turn.
One man's getting massaged, the other is eating and drinking. What is this, Club Med? Play poker.
A queen high board. Mizrachi makes that call. The river card now. A deuce of diamonds. Candio first to act. He checks. Grinder bets 425.
Grinder looks comfortable, but maybe he's just enjoying his food.
Filippo Candio makes the call.
Straight drop flush.
Grinder says, I missed everything. You can take the pot.
Oh, they are playing poker. Candio calls with ace high, and it's good.
Wow, Filippo Candio now over 6 million chips. That's the 6th best stack in the room.
I don't think you should eat and bluff at the same time.
Michael down below 5 million chips, and his wife Lily probably texting to ask the brothers, hey, where are you guys? Back to the featured table. The championship bracelet looming nearby. Action on John Racener under the gun. 8-6 off.
Is he still chewing that same piece of gum?
I think so. He folds. Hassan Habib looks down at ace-king.
This is his 3rd main event cash in 4 years, and he finished 4th at the 2000 main event.
And he's going to raise it up with ace-king to 155,000. Tony Dunst now with pocket queens.
And 15 big blinds left.
I'm all in.
And he's all in for his last 930,000.
Double up, double mint, triple mint. What a life.
So they re-raise all in back to Hassan Habib with his ace-king.
I got a call.
And he makes the call to put Dunst at risk.
You got a pair?
Yeah.
And now it will be a race for Tony Dunst's main event life.
I got ace king and against 2 queens.
I'm gonna need a kiss for good luck.
I just had a bunch of cash.
Oh, that's all right.
All-in player. He
Maybe
has
on the cheek a bit. There you go.
At this point.
Dunst has got more than 2 queens.
Good luck, man.
Good luck, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, Tony Dunst is just too cool. Too cool.
All right, here's the flop. Tony at risk. And there's a king for Habib to put Dunst on the brink.
Oh, Tony Dunst might want to get a kiss from one of the other girls now.
All right, turn card now. Is a tray, and Tony knows that's no help.
Hassan Habib in command. Tony Dunst needs a queen and a queen only, or he is wamboozled.
River card. Tony got his queen! What a nugget Tony finds on the river, saving his main event.
Insane.
It worked. You're real good.
Somehow I think if you kiss me on the cheek, Lon, I'm not going to have the same luck.
Never an easy sweat.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
On and off the felt, Tony Dunst is living the good life. Now it's time for Deal Me In, brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. During day 1 of the 2009 main event, Eric Lindgren looked down at pocket aces.
A good hand, but it's kind of one you want to be careful with early in a tournament. So I just make it 200. I get a call behind, and the big blind calls. So there's 3 players to the flop.
The flop is 5, 7, 10.
I decide to check. Maybe that will induce a bluff, or if I'm behind, it'll keep the pot small. I'm looking to avoid the pitfalls that are going to send me walking out that door. My opponent over here bets 600, and when I call his bet, he actually says something.
Being the master.
That's normally a sign that he's pretty comfortable. He's happy about his hand.
Turn card, 4 of diamonds. Myers adds a straight draw.
Not a good card for my hand again. Some of the draws are getting there. I check it. He bets 1,200. Again, I feel like my hand is too strong to fold, so I call to 1,200.
River card is an 8, and Myers gets there. He hits his straight.
I check it again. Now he bets 2,500. This is a really tough spot. He could have had like 2 queens or kings and been slow playing that pre-flop, so there are some hands I could beat. Unfortunately, I called it 2,500. He shows me the 5-6.
Eric quietly mucks the aces.
It's always more macho to raise somebody and to play that way, but sometimes you have to put the brakes on and play a little bit smaller poker. It's a little more conservative, but it's the best way to beat a big field.
Back inside the Amazon room here at the Rio, back over to pro basketball player Michael Skender. He's in a hand with Matt Affleck.
A rare battle of baseball and basketball jerseys.
They check the flop, saw an 8 of spades come down on the turn. Skender now checks. Matt Affleck bets 250,000. Skender folds immediately.
I promised Matt's mother he would do better than his 80th place finish last year. He has. The rest is up to him.
Over to a short-stacked Eric Baldwin. His pocket nine's in big trouble as he tries to knock out Sergei Rybachenko and his kings. Rybachenko moved to the field from the feature table.
Baldwin has to have a river 9.
River card is a 6, and Rybachenko will double up through Baldwin, who is crippled now in this main event.
Baldwin with just 5 big blinds left.
Also moving seats is William Thorson. He's now sitting at a table with his friend Johnny Lawton. They also sat together on day 6. They're going back to their seats as there is a big hand developing at that table between Kun Nguyen, who likes to be known as Soy, and Joseph Cheong. Soy checked the flop with pocket jacks. Cheong bets 650 after pairing his king. Soy raises Cheong all in, and Cheong calls.
I'm an all-in a call on 370.
The amateur gets in trouble with his pocket jacks, and Cheong poised for the big double up.
And Norman, look at that pot, over $8.6 million at stake. All right, the turn card, but Cheong at risk. It's a deuce, and Joseph still good.
Nguyen needs a river jack to knock out Joseph Cheong.
The river card is a 6, and Joseph Cheong wins that pot with a pair of kings.
Nguyen doesn't want to see pocket jacks again for a while. Most of his chips going over to Joseph Cheong.
Cheong handed a gift and climbs to over $8.5 million. That's the 3rd biggest stack in the room. Back to the featured table, Tony Dunst once again holding court, but not at the poker table.
I did not think I was going to get that queen on the river.
He's hoping to keep his lucky streak alive.
I'm glad you did.
That doesn't really happen to me in live poker, but apparently this tournament it does. Unreal.
I can't believe Tony Dunst has turned the main event into the love boat.
Tony's still in the running for that gold bracelet. It's time now for the Jackling Speed Jerky Wildcard hand, Norman Chad.
People are now paying me a personal appearance fee to come to their homes and predict what they're having for dinner.
Action is on Tony Dunst. He's got a few more chips to play with now, and he has pocket 9s.
From here on in, whenever I see Tony Dunst, I will think of the Sade song, Smooth Operator.
And the man dressed to the 9s bets his 9s, $135,000. Dewey Lay with a jack of spades and a 5 of spades.
Lay looks like he could use a visit to the gallery, but he's married.
He folds to Damian Luis in the small blind with the Jack Link's wild card hand.
I do not know this man.
Well, he's got a raise of $135,000 to him, and he makes the call.
I'll put him on medium suited connectors, 8-7 or thereabouts.
Racener the big blind with 5 deuce. He will sit this one out.
Still chewing.
So heads up, Dunst and Luis.
I do not know this man.
All right, here we go. The flop is 4 ace-6, 2 spades. Dunst got no help to his 9s.
I do not know the man. I do not know his cards.
He checks. Dunst now.
Tony Dunst has style, and I know style.
$150,000.
I don't know this man, but if he's calling here, I know his cards. It's either a spade draw or a straight draw.
He does call.
The smooth operator versus the draw.
All right, turn card now is another 4.
If Luis had a draw, that did not help him.
Dunst now with 9s and 4s. Luis checks again.
Luis happy to see a free card.
And Tony checks.
I even like the way Dunst checks. I've got Luis on a flush draw or a straight draw.
River card is a tray of hearts.
Don't look at me, Lon. I don't know. I don't know.
Luis is a little unsure himself. It bets 250.
Well, the smooth operator takes off his shades, which means he's not raising. He looks like he's going to give Luis credit for a hand, and I will too. Maybe Luis hit a straight.
Tony folds. And Luis, let's see what you got, buddy. 7-5. He did river a straight to win the Jack Link's beef jerky wildcard hand.
Oh, Lon, who's the smooth operator now? I'm feeling it.
You called the straight. Tony Dunst made a nice fold. There is John Dolan, who finished 6th in that event. John having a tough time today, having lost almost 2 million chips. Meanwhile, over table 2, Redmond Lee in the gray sweatshirt with pocket jacks trying to knock out John Armbrust, who called all-in pre-flop with ace-king.
Having too much fun. I do not want to go home right now.
Armbrust and Lee both cashed at the 07 main event. Armbrust was 18th.
Armbrust hits his ace on the turn. And he loves that.
Lee absorbs the blow stoically. Armbrust says he doesn't want to go home, and it looks like he won't have to. He now just has to dodge a jack to double up.
The river card is a jack! Redmond Lee finds a winner on the river and busts John Armbrust.
The turn giveth, and the river taketh away.
Armbrust wins over 114,000. Lee from London up to 3.8 million. It's been a lucky day 7 for him so far. Back to the feature table. William Thorson continuing to play musical chairs. Now finds himself at the feature table. Thorson finished 13th in the 06 main event, looking to best that result this year.
Where was it we played last time?
We first played together in the series in 06, forever ago.
Yeah, in main event.
Yeah, main event.
Yeah, that's
on
what I
day
was
2.
thinking. It's nice to see people that you played with.
Real old school, eh? Yeah.
I can't believe these guys never run into each other in a singles bar.
Tony finished 198th place in 06. He has ace-9, and befitting Tony, they are suited.
Tony says he hated all the jobs he had, so he began to play poker. These days, he wakes up at noon and starts to play online. It's a life.
He raises to 135,000 to Williamson, king, queen of spades.
His father, Olaf, went from penthouse to outhouse in the 03 main event to finish 16th. 3 years later, William finished 13th. Move over Brunson's.
Thorson makes call. Now over to the youngest player at the table, 21-year-old Matt Harris.
His mother's taking him to a barber tomorrow.
He lays it down to the oldest player left, 61-year-old Jim McCrink with 9s.
He was president of an electronics manufacturing company for 15 years in Chicago.
All in.
And he says all in for over 1.8 million. He has Tony Dunst covered. Dunst folds.
Tony says no.
Now over to Thorson.
Thorson doesn't like the word no.
Yeah, I like to gamble. I call.
You're right, Norman. He does call to put McCrink at risk.
Boy, he does like to gamble. That was for 30% of Thorson's stack.
Let's see who is lucky.
Wow. Sounds like the executioner there.
It's a coin flip for Jim McCrink's main event life.
The flop 7, Jack 4. McCrink's pocket 9 stand up.
McCrink now more than a 2-to-1 favorite. Thorson with pretty much just a nice head of hair.
Turn card now. Oh, a queen for Thorson.
And remember, Tony Dunst folded a 9. Now Jim McCrink has to have the last 9 in the deck to survive.
The river card is a deuce, and Thorson's pair of queens send Jim McCrink to the rail.
Another tough exit, and another good-looking lucky stiff.
McCrink finishes in 62nd place. That is worth over $138,000.
Need good hands to push. I never fold, so it's better to wait for a good hand.
Thorson putting out a warning to his table mates, you better have it before you push on me. He's now 6th in chips with 7 million. Meanwhile, out in the field, Matt Affleck in a hand on the river with Evgeny Schneider of Russia.
Affleck says he's 10 times the player he was last year. Back-to-back deep runs for Matt.
Pair of queens, 9-6 deuce on the board. Matt reaching for chips. He does bet 725. And a call from Schneider. Affleck turns over trip queens.
725.
And I think that's good enough to beat Schneider.
Matt enjoying this deep run. No blow-ups, no missteps.
I'll smile in November.
After falling apart late in the 09 main event, nothing but a final table this year will satisfy Matt. To Eric Baldwin, who's now at risk with King 8 of diamonds, called by Pascal Lefrancois with pocket 9s pre-flop.
2 young bracelet winners, with Baldwin looking at perhaps his last hand.
Almost 2 million chips in the middle. Now the flop. 9-5-6, a set for Lefrancois, a straight draw for Baldwin.
Oh, that's not good.
It is not good for Eric Baldwin. He needs a 7 to win with a straight, or running clubs to chop the pot with a flush.
The turn card. King of spades does not help Baldwin.
That's no good. We need a 7.
He speaks the truth. LeFrancois poised for the knockout. Eric Baldwin has to have a 7.
The river card's a deuce, and that will do it. Eric Baldwin eliminated from this main event in 59th place.
He was stuck in reverse all day, it seemed.
LeFrancois of Canada ends Eric's run. The 28-year-old Baldwin now takes the lonely walk out of the Rio poker room for the last time in 2010.
Shoot.
Back at the Rio, just 58 players remain here on day 7. Let's take a look at the top stacks in the room on the PokerStars.net chip count. Despite taking a hit and falling below 9 million, Jorgensen is still the tournament leader. Candio now right on his heels. Joseph Cheong in 5th place. The chip average almost 3.8 million. And there's the smaller stack of the chip leader. Jorgensen once near 11 million. He looks to climb back to that lofty perch. Now to the man second in chips, Filippo Candio. He is looking on as the grinder Michael Mizrachi is in a hand on the river with Patrick Skander.
Skander from Northern California owns multiple medical businesses.
It's an ace-high board with 3 hearts. Skander, 2-act, 100 grand.
100,000? That's not even a bet.
That's only 1 chip. Mizrachi raises to 625.
Yeah, Mizrachi makes a grinder-sized raise.
Skander.
Ace is up.
Grinder says ace is up. Skander shows ace-10 for aces up as well. And Grinder mucks, and Skander takes that pot.
Boy, we have seen Grinder make several losing river bets here at the main event.
Skander increasing his stack to over 8.4 million. He's now in 3rd place. While the Grinder's woes continue here on day 7, he began the day 2nd in chips. He's lost more than half his stack. Another top pro in trouble, David Benjamin, just moved all in with Queen 10 of spades, called by Pascal LeFrancois' ace queen of hearts.
Benjamin, one of the best around, is dominated.
All hearts, and the flop, LeFrancois flops the nut flush.
And that will pretty much do it for David Benjamin.
The turn card has Benjamin drawing dead. He's out in 58th place.
LeFrancois disposes of 2 great players in short order, Eric Baldwin and David Benjamin.
David finished 102nd last year, 58th here.
Let me tell you something about the main event. Benjamin beat more than 99% of the field. For 58th place, he earned 100 grand and change. If he'd made it to 8th place, it's worth $1 million. That's how close and far away he was from the big money.
Back to the featured table, we see that Tony Dunst has voluntarily played an 8 of 63 hands. He's good pre-flop, 0 for post-flop. Racener has voluntarily played in 14 hands with a good winning percentage pre-flop, not so much after the flop.
And he's voluntarily chewed the same piece of gum for 63 hands.
Over to Southern California amateur Corey Emery on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam. Pocket 8s.
Emery works as a security guard.
And he's reaching for chips. A raise to 140,000. Over to Matt Harris with Pocket Kings again.
Harris, a student in England, plans to become a software engineer. But Pocket Kings might change his mind.
And he's going to re-raise it to 350,000.
Back to Benjamin for a second. You play 7 long days of poker. You beat nearly 7,300 people. 100 grand doesn't seem that much compared to what might have been.
Racener with ace-king. And Racener has a lot of chips in his hands. He's going to 4-bet it to 785,000. Tony Dunst with a 9 and a queen. He'll sit this one out.
You know William Thorson wants in.
Yeah, the big blind, 5 deuce. I'm not sure he's going to cut it. He does fold. So the re-raise back to Emery and his pocket 8s, and now they're in the muck.
Emery does the smart thing.
To the Kings of Harris.
I'm all in.
He moves all in for over 2 million. Now the action back to Racener.
I call.
And he makes the call with his ace-king to put Harris at risk.
Those hands pretty much played themselves. Harris looking to get healthy. If Racener gets lucky, he would become chip leader.
All right, here's the flop. Queen, Trey, 7, that misses both. That means Harris still looking good for the double up.
Harris still in great shape. Racener still just chewing gum and hoping to hit a card.
Harris awaiting his fate. And now the turn card. Jack of spades, Harris adds a flush draw. Racener picks up some outs with a Broadway draw.
So now Racener would need a non-spade ace or 10 to knock out Matt Harris.
The river card is an ace of clubs, and there it is. Racener wins it and will send young Matt Harris back to England.
What a brutal way to end your main event. Racener's running so good, maybe it is the chewing gum.
John Racener delivers the bad beat and wins that pot. And with 10.2 million, he's now the Day 7 chip leader. As Day 7 continues here at the Rio, only 56 players remain, and the ever-shrinking field contains several familiar faces as well as some former chip leaders, including Danish bracelet winner Theo Jorgensen, who's second in chips, Filippo Candio, the animated young Italian, who's third in chips, and 23-year-old pro Matt Affleck from Seattle. Over at Table 2, 24-year-old pro Joseph Cheong rounds out the top 5 in chips. And at our featured table, it's chip leader John Racener, bracelet winner Hassan Habib, and the debonair Tony Dunst, along with Swedish pro William Thorson. And watch out, Michael Mizrachi has joined the table.
This table just keeps getting easier.
You dropped some or what?
I lost a lot.
Indeed, Grinder's chip stack has been greatly reduced. Good news for the rest of this table.
While Michael has been leaking chips so far here on Day 7, William Thorson has been holding steady, but that's good enough for 7th place.
The resplendent Tony Dunst is well below chip average at the moment, but at least he looks good. I wonder if he buys off the rack.
Chip average right now about 3.9 million. There is your tournament leader, John Racener, with almost 10 million on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam Ace-8 off.
On his 21st birthday, he got 3rd place in his first ever live event, the World Series Circuit Main Event in Atlantic City, and then he won that event the following year, beating November 9er Eric Buckman heads up.
Racener from Under the Gun +1 raises to 140,000 to Hassan Habib. He folds. Now to Dunst, 9 deuce, and he'll lay it down. Over to Swedish pro William Thorson with a couple of 10s.
You want action? This man will give you action. He loves the gamble.
140 even or?
Born and still lives in Sweden. Thorson with the call. Corey Emery sloppily folds and drops a 10 on the pocket 10s of Thorson.
Thorson thinking, hey, buddy, keep your 10 off of my 10s.
Over to Mizrachi. Michael looks down at King Jack in the small blind.
These days, it seems that I spend more time with Grinder than I do with my own brothers.
Grinder makes the call for 110 more. Dewey lay with the ace-queen of spades.
First time I saw the ace of spades line, I was maybe 8 or 9 years old, and I just fell in love with the card.
And it's stuck with you all these years. Lay makes the call. 4 will see the flop. Thorson with a pocket 10s. Lay favored with the ace-queen of spades. Here's the flop, and there's a 10 along with a king and a 9. Thorson hits the case 10 for a set. Lay with a royal flush draw. Mizrachi bets 300,000 with top pair and a gut shot. Lay makes the call.
If I were him, I would announce I have a royal flush draw. I'd be tickled pink.
He calls. Racener lays down. Now to Thorson with that unlikely set of 10s.
Well, with flush and straight draws on that board, I don't think he's just going to smooth call with this set.
Thorson does raise it up to 975.
He didn't want to commit a million chips.
Mizrachi.
And, you know, Grinder's not sure if he wants to commit any more chips. It was a good-looking flop for him, and Grinder let out. Man, you've got to like Thorson's look.
Grinder with top pair and a straight draw. Wondering what Thorson's up to. Grinder gives up his hand.
Solid, disciplined laydown from Grinder.
Now to Dewey Lay.
Lay definitely getting the right price to chase his draws.
Draw of draws. He does make the call for 675 more.
Boy, if I could borrow Thorson's face, it would do wonders for my social life.
All right, so heads up now to the turn. Deuce of hearts. Thorson, almost a 3-1 favorite now. Lay got no help.
Check.
He checks.
How much do you play? 30 big or?
Got like 5 million behind.
William Thorson.
About 2 million.
Puts the heat on 2 million.
And now the price is getting steep for Lay with just one card to come. He is getting 2.5 to 1 on a call. He is a 3-1 dog.
It's a sick bet.
It's sick, Lon. So sick.
Dewey Lay squirming under the pressure of William Thorson.
I have the sickest draw ever.
How can you have the sickest draw ever? There should be Queen Jack of spades, right?
That's pretty darn close.
Jack 8 is no good.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay if you call now when I know what you have anyway.
Dewey Lay retreats and Thorson will take the pot.
Set of 9s or set of 10s I gave you?
Can I see the river card? Or?
Dewey Lay asking what the river would have been.
Flip it.
The official turns over a jack. Lee would have made a straight. Wait, that was actually the burn card.
Well, they're not supposed to do this.
Latray would have been the actual river card.
That was a river card, bro.
100%.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Dewey Lay really put through the ringer on that hand, while William Thorson stacks his winnings in what is proving to be yet another lucrative main event appearance.
Norman, making it deep in the main event is challenging enough. Doing it multiple times is even more difficult. We have marveled through the years at repeat performers like Dan Harrington, Greg Raymer, and Mike Matusow. And this year, we have a couple of players experiencing deja vu all over again.
Lon, I give you Matt Affleck and William Thorson. Affleck was among the chip leaders late last year, and after crashing into his own failed bluff, he was gone in 80th place. Thorson made an even better run in 06, and after crashing into eventual champion Jamie Gold, he was gone in 13th place. Well, Affleck and Thorson both are back, each hoping to take care of some unfinished business.
Thorson said it took him a long time to get over that 06 main event knockout, but he has recovered nicely. Out in the field, Thorson's good friend, Norwegian pro Johnny Lawden, in the blue hoodie, is still enjoying his best ever main event showing. Much more stressed is Pascal Lefrancois, who's at risk with pocket queens, trying to double up through fellow Canadian Jonathan Driscoll and his pocket jacks with the turn card coming. The turn card. 5 of clubs, Lefrancois still good.
Driscoll's family owns an apple orchard in Quebec, but an apple a day won't keep Pascal away. Only a jack will do that.
It's a 10 on the river. Lefrancois doubles up to almost 9.4 million. Driscoll takes the hit.
What a windfall for Pascal Lefrancois.
And with that double up, the bracelet winner is now a top 5 chip stack on day 7 of the main event. Nearby Italian pro Filippo Candio with ace-king called the pre-flop all-in of Jared Ingles holding jack-10 of hearts. The flop is 8-8 ace. Ace is up for Filippo.
Ingles, you may recall, used to haul hay for a living.
Ingles pairs his jack.
Ingles needs another jack.
River card is a 10. Candio with aces and eights, but it's Ingles who is the dead man in this main event. He goes out in 56th place, wins over 138,000. And Filippo Candio quietly becomes the chip leader.
You're the one that got that round penalty yesterday for screaming, huh? That was you? Not today. Yeah, you're screaming.
Filippo had to sit out a round of action after a day 6 outburst, but he's being much more subdued here on day 7. The only ones that have perhaps been noisier than Filippo, the Mizrachi cheering section. They're back in force.
When the Mizrachis finally leave, I can't tell you how many room vacancies the Rio's going to have.
All right, action back to the feature table where Michael Mizrachi is sitting. Blinds at 30 and 60,000. Tony Dunst with ace-queen.
He was his high school self-appointed bookie in Madison, Wisconsin.
And he's going to raise it up to 135,000. Thorson, also with ace-queen.
I'm sure Thorson would have been one of Dunst's customers if they were in homeroom together.
He repops it to 415,000. Mizrachi with the pocket tens now.
And the grinders always like to gamble, too.
And Mizrachi with a re-raise to 915. Back to Dunst now.
Man.
Too much gambling for Tony Dunst, I think.
And he lays down his ace-queen.
2.5 more.
Yeah, 2.5.
Back to Thorson now.
And how much is this? Mullen.
Thorson re-raises grinder all in.
Thorson loves to apply pressure, and the year of the Mizrachis might be flashing before Grinder's eyes.
So now a huge decision for Michael Mizrachi. Does he want to risk his main event life and perhaps a share of the Player of the Year title?
I don't think I can fold this in. Not good enough. I don't think I have aces.
Grinder's right about that. Thorson giving away nothing.
What a moment for Grinder and the entire Mizrachi family.
Grinder's got 2 problems here. 1, figuring out William Thorson's hand. That's tricky enough. 2, deciding whether he wants to put his main event on the line. Chances are Grinder's either crushed by a bigger pocket pair, or he's up against a hand like ace-king or ace-queen, in which case he's just a small favorite.
Of course, we know Grinder's in better shape than that because Dunst folded an ace and a queen.
As a rule, Mizrachis tend to think better when they're standing.
Give me 1 minute.
Michael understandably needs a little extra time for this one.
Well, Grinder knows if he folds, he's still in comfortable shape with about 60 big blinds, but a double up here would make him very comfortable.
William Thorson, so difficult to read.
Time, please.
And Thorson calls a clock on Grinder.
He now has 60 seconds to make his decision.
9 o'clock.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Does Michael want to risk having it all come to an end right here, right now?
Got a really big pair.
He lays down the tens.
Show me kings.
You can pick one.
It's gonna be an ace pie.
Which one?
Take the front one.
Yeah. Show me queens. They might have ace, queen, and diamond.
Pretty good guess.
Michael trying to get a peek at the cards as the dealer shuffles them.
You don't do that, John?
I do.
Yeah.
Michael gives up almost 1 million chips. Another bold move by the Swede this deep in the main event against a strong player, and he continues to set the tone at this feature table. Back to the Rio where Peter Jetton was caught making an audacious pre-flop million chip bluff. Doug Palovich called with ace-queen, and unless Jetton gets lucky with his 9-5 off, he'll be left with just 15,000 chips.
From the small blind, Jetton decided to try to pick up the blinds and antes, and now he may pay the price.
Trip queens for Palovich, and the turn card has Jetton drawing dead. Palovich with the double up.
This will be exciting.
Jetton with 3 orange chips left.
And 2 will be for the ante on the next hand.
It's half of what I started the tournament with. That's right.
And I have 2.3 million now, so...
Half of which were just Peter Jetton's chips.
I'd say Peter's options are severely limited at this point, Norman.
Boy, your analysis is almost as sharp as mine.
All right, let's get over to table 2. Joseph Cheong made a pre-flop raise with king-8 of clubs, Alex Kostritsin with 8-7 of spades, and Gabe Costner with ace-jack of diamonds called. They're going to the flop. It is 9-6-7. Costner favored with a flush draw and 1 over. Kostritsin with a pair of 7s and an up-and-down straight draw is best. Cheong also with an up-and-down straight draw. It's check to Cheong. He bets 240.
The worst hand fires out.
Kostritsin now with the best hand.
I like this guy's game, and I like the cut of his jib.
He makes the call.
Look at that jacket. Was Gabe Costner Harrison Ford's stunt double in Indiana Jones?
Costner check calls for 240,000. Turn card now, 10 of diamonds. Costner hits the nut flush. That also gave a straight to the other 2. Costner slow plays his flush. Joseph Cheong now. Checks as well.
He'll sit on his straight.
Kostritsin. Not going to sit on it. 825,000.
Can't blame him.
Now to Costner with the check mark.
He's a former day trader and financial advisor.
Reaching for some of the big chips.
1.8.
He check raises to 1.8 million.
It's now the Temple of Doom for somebody.
Joseph Cheong. Next to act with his straight.
Cheong knows with his straight he could be drawing dead. And that is indeed the case.
What a laydown by Cheong.
Cheong does the right thing. Not as easy for Kostritsin to do the right thing. He just committed 825,000 chips.
Alex says, I believe you, and he lays it down.
Gabe Costner still does some day trading, and that was a good deal right there for him.
He's now a top 5 chip stack in the room. Let's get back to the featured table where one of the main event's best performers this year and last has taken a seat. Matt Affleck with his nearly 7 million chips now sitting in.
Boy, Affleck, Mizrachi, Thorson, Dunst at this table. A lot of active, aggressive players.
Thorson with ace-9.
130.
He's going to raise it up to 130. To Michael Mizrachi now. Grinder looks at a 10-8 of hearts.
You always want to be to the left of aggressive players. Grinder very happy he's to the left of Thorson.
Grinder comes along. Affleck with queen deuce. Will not be in this hand.
Racener working the gum.
Trey, deuce of diamonds. He's in the big blind. And he will call.
Racener and Grinder are very flop-mistic.
3 will see that flop. It is ace 8, 10, 2. Diamonds, Mizrachi with bottom 2 pair. Racener with a flush draw. Thorson got top pair. Racener checked. Thorson bets 225.
Grinder loves that flop, and he probably hopes that ace hit Thorson because then he's got him on the hook.
Mizrachi with 10s and 8s. Makes it $500,000 to stick around.
Now the diamond draw for John Racener.
And that goes into the muck. Back to Thorson now. William Thorson makes the call. Michael says, thank you, William. Turn card. Deuce of spades. Mizrachi still ahead.
I check.
Thorson checks this time.
Grinder loves this spot.
1 million.
1 million from Michael.
2/3 the pot. Well, I don't think Thorson puts Grinder on a better ace, and Grinder didn't raise pre-flop, so he's not going to put him on a big pair.
Michael would love to get some chips back.
If I fold, you're going to show me a queen as well?
I'll probably show you a jack.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I have you on, actually, the queen jack. I feel so bad folding this. You have your king jack.
Thorson doesn't want to let it go.
He flashes an ace and folds. Some theatrics from Michael.
Wait, I can pick one.
I'll tell you later. I promise I'll tell you.
What type of deal is that? He showed you one.
You made a good fold.
Good fold for who?
Good fold for him.
After a slow start to day 7, Mizrachi is chipping up. He's working his way back to $5 million, and that's good news to him and to his wife, Lily.
Come on, Lily, you can smile.
Grinder's not the only one with a good woman on his side cheering him on. There's Ben Stotts, boyfriend of Katie Lederer, who's the sister of Annie Duke and Howard Lederer. She's been supporting him here. Stotts watching someone who could really use some support. Josh Brickus all in with ace-6 against the Jack-10 of Jerry Payne.
Brickus has a fiance. Where the heck is she?
One time. I gotta use up my one time right now, I guess.
You haven't used it yet?
All right, there's the flop, and there's a jack for Payne to put a hurt on Brickus.
Brickus all but out of here now.
Turn card is an 8. Brickus gets no help.
Brickus has to have an ace.
The river card is a tray of clubs. Payne wins the hand. Josh Brickus knocked out in 55th place.
I wish him good luck if he goes through with that marriage next month.
So with Brickus out, there's a $30,000 pay jump for 54th place, and that will be just fine with Peter Jetton, who's all in with Jack-10 of diamonds against the ace-king of John Dolan. Jetton all in. Here's the flop. There's a king for Dolan. Jetton does pick up a straight draw. The deuce on the turn is no help.
Jetton's got to have a 7 or a queen.
The river card, 6 of clubs. Dolan with his pair of kings knocks out Peter Jetton.
Hey, good luck, man.
Dolan takes in Peter Jetton's chips. Not much to take in.
Peter left quite an impression on this main event with the now famous button.
Hey, all right, extra 30K.
Peter learning about the pay bump to almost $169,000, and that puts a nice button on Peter Jetton's main event. Welcome back to the Rio, where Peter Jetton was just knocked out in 54th place.
I can't complain. It was an unbelievable World Series. Great experience. My deepest run in this event, so I'll be back next year to crush it.
Lon, my Peter Jetton button will be found on my mantelpiece right next to my I Like Ike button and my limited edition Howard the Duck button.
To a short stack, Jason Sentai. Facing a raise, he decides to re-raise all in for his last $780,000. Evgeny Schneider makes the call. Ben Stotts lays it down, so Sentai at risk. He shows ace-queen, Schneider king-queen.
Every year, Lon, players seem to go out most often with ace-king or ace-queen.
All right, here's the flop. Sentai at risk. 5 tray. Sentai breathes a little easier now.
Yeah, well, ace-queen is looking very good right now.
The turn card. A jack of spades. Sentai still good.
Sentai looking to dodge a king to double up.
The river card is a queen that pairs both players. Schneider thinks he's won the hand, but actually it's Sentai who will score the double up.
I'm a little confused there. Yeah. It's like, how am I reading this incorrectly?
Jason Sentai graduated at the top of his high school class and summa cum laude from the University of North Dakota. I, on the other hand, barely graduated.
Sentai up to almost $1.8 million now. Got some work to do, though. Back over to the featured table where the Mizrachi faithful still in the stands, supporting brother Michael. Grinder on the uptick recently.
When I go to the bank here, Lon, everyone in line in front of me is a Mizrachi.
Action on Tony Dunst. Dunst looks down at queen 4.
I wouldn't mind seeing Smooth Operator get some cards.
Dunst will sit this one out. William Thorson, the active William Thorson, with 7-6 of spades.
5 career cashes at the World Series for Thorson with 1 final table.
He limps in for $60,000. Over to the grinder. Ace 10 off. Michael saying, whatever you can do, William, I can do. He limps in to Matt Affleck. Ace king of spades.
After his heartbreaking exit last year, Matt says he wants to win the main event more than anyone in the room.
No limping here. A raise to 230.
And Matt this year more composed, more mature than he was a year ago. And of course, he has me in his corner.
And he's bettered his finish from last year, as you promised his mom. Thorson calls for $170,000 more.
Call. It's going to get me in trouble.
Michael folds ace 10.
Grinder playing it very close to the vest, no?
So heads up, Thorson and Affleck. And the flop is Jack 9-10. Affleck with a Broadway draw. Thorson with a gut shot to a lesser straight. He checks.
Bet it, Matt.
No, he doesn't.
All right, just check.
Turn card is another 10.
Grinder wouldn't have been in trouble if he had stayed. Trip 10s.
Check.
Thorson checks again.
Bet it, Matt.
Matt will not bet it.
All right, just check.
River card is an 8, and Thorson hits his straight.
I take it back, Lon. Grinder would have been in trouble.
William Thorson now reaching for chips. 210,000.
Oh, geez. Is my godson reaching for chips?
He is. And that's more than 210,000. A raise to 775.
Boy, I hope Matt's mom is not watching. Your son's on his own now. Sorry, ma'am. Affleck trying to bluff Thorson off the bottom end of the straight.
Thorson looks a little uneasy. And he folds his straight.
Oh, it worked. I knew it would work. That's my boy.
Matt Affleck with a bold move on the river to win that pot.
Thorson's wondering, did I just get swaggle-foosed?
He did. All right, let's go back out in the field and check in again on Thorson's good friend, Norwegian poker pro Johnny Lawton, facing some pressure right now. 2 raises in front of him. Matt Berkey, the original raiser. Then it went over to Michael Wyrot, who re-raised.
Wyrot, one of the 3 players who still can beat Joe Cata's record as youngest main event champ.
Lawton is in the big blind, and he'll lay it down. Berkey gives it up, and Wyrot will take that pot. So both Johnny Lawton and William Thorson hit bumps in the road, but what an amazing trip this main event has been for them so far.
I met Johnny first time in Stockholm around 2003. From the beginning I thought he was a little bit arrogant and this young kid, but I realized very fast that he was a very good player and also a very good guy.
He's a little more cocky than me. He's always trying to show up, but he's a good guy. We're very close friends. We haven't never cashed together actually in a single tournament. Every time I cash, he busts, and every time he cash, I bust.
I think we both have a great chance of making it deep.
Now we can discuss our play and how to do and what the strategy is.
I mean, I learned a lot from him. I think he learned a lot from me.
Of course, I'm gonna win, but he can take second.
I mean, I wish we both go to the final 2
and then take a really nice party after.
If those guys go heads up, it could be over in one hand. They have so much gamble in them. Remarkable the friends still here on day 7.
So Norway and Sweden represented. Now former chip leader, Danish pro Theo Jorgensen faced with an 875,000 chip river bet by Soy Win. It's an ace-high board with flush and straight possibilities. They're waiting on Pascal Lefrancois. And he reluctantly folds. Jorgensen gives it up, and amateur Soy Win will collect his winnings.
Soy from Southern California. This is his first World Series cash ever, and he is making it count.
Action over to Ben Stotts now, who started the hand with about 4 million chips. He just called the 1.3 million chip all-in from Chris Bolt, who holds ace-king. Stotts with queen 10 of spades.
Wow. Queen high.
Okay, talk to Phil Hellmuth about it.
You must hate me for something I did in previous life.
Well, I hate Chris Bolt's behavior right now. Maybe Stotts made a questionable call, but you don't parade around like King Lear.
Bolt still ahead with his ace high.
Yeah, Bolt still okay, but still a bit bothered.
Turn card. 4 of spades. Bolt squirms a little bit as Stotts picks up a flush draw.
Yeah, Stotts now can knock out Bolt with a queen 10 or any spade.
Bolt, the Nashville poker pro, enjoying his first World Series cash, waiting on the river. And the river card is a spade, and Stotts rivers the flush to knock out Bolt.
Boy, Stotts sends Bolt out on a tough note.
He caught lightning on the turn-end river, and that makes his girlfriend Katie Lederer very happy, while a most unhappy Chris Bolt deals with the elimination.
I feel badly for Bolt. I'd feel worse for him if he had handled himself a little better.
Shake his hand or just leave him alone.
Stotts does feel sympathetic.
Nice Sam. Nice Sam.
Sorry, man.
Stotts taking the high road.
Good game, man.
Ben Stotts going over to console and congratulate Bolt.
Played really well.
We are now 1 player closer to the final table.
Shut the up.
A clearly agitated Chris Bolt has his high hopes dashed by an unlikely fall of the cards, and the defeated walks away in anguish. Back at the Rio, just 52 players remain. Let's get back over to table 2. Joseph Cheong in a classic poker matchup, Norman. His 10-8 of hearts against the stray of spades of Evan Lamprey. All right, the flop is ace-4-9. Cheong with his 10-high is a winner so far.
Lamprey, one of the 3 players left who could still beat Joe Cata's youngest champ record.
Lamprey checks.
Lamprey says, you want it, you take it.
Cheong was the original raiser pre-flop. And he's telling Evan, I might have an ace, 150,000.
He says, I do want it, so I will take it. Lamprey, a marketing student at the University of Windsor.
And he raises it to 420.
Lamprey with the big-time read, he'll bang back with nothing.
All in.
Joseph raises all in.
Cheong pushing Lamprey all in about as casually as if he's buying a quart of milk. And that will be that.
Oh, Lamprey does fold. Wow.
Right read, right move, right time.
Joseph Cheong wins the Battle of Wills with Evan Lamprey, and that's a strong move from the young player who is in just his 2nd World Series of Poker.
3 years ago, I probably didn't know what a small blind was. 2.5 years ago is when I started seriously playing online, thinking maybe it could be a possibility for a future career. I just played some home games with my college buddies and started playing online, sit and goes and whatnot, $5, $2, and then I kept playing until now. Makes it easy. I wasn't sure how deep I would actually go, and I was chip leader at my table every single day. It was probably about the 6th day when I was chip leader the whole tournament where I really felt like I had a shot. It does feel nice to have a giant mountain of chips in front of you. You got like 500 behind it, right? The more chips you have, the more pots you can play, the more pressure you can put on players. I watched the main event on TV for years, and last year was the first time I played it, but now that I'm actually deep in this, it just feels so surreal. It's more money than I can ever imagine.
At last year's World Series, Cheong failed to cash in 9 events, but this year he won a circuit event and is having a very solid run here.
Here are the top 10 chip counts. Cheong currently in 7th. 3 players in the 10 million chip club, now led by Gabe Costner. Candio right on his tail. Affleck up more than 3 million on the day. Over to Canadian pro Jonathan Duhamel. He's all in pre-flop with ace-king. He was called by Rob Pisano with his pocket 6s.
I run really good at flips. Yeah, me too. All right, well, it's going to come ace-king 6 then, I think.
Pisano was a day 6 chip leader. He dealt the big blow to Johnny Chan before Chan went out.
Here's the flop. 7 tray jack. Pisano and his 6s are still good.
It's coming.
Duhamel thinks it's coming. It's got to come soon.
6 on a turn.
Turn card. It was a 5. Pisano thought it was a 6 for a second.
Duhamel needs an ace or a king or his main event journey is over.
And the river is a king. Duhamel finds life on the river, and he's still in this main event.
Duhamel never budged an inch like he knew it was coming.
Duhamel waited until the last second for that double up. He's up to 3.6 million, about 600,000 below the chip average, and still in the running for that championship bracelet. Time now for the Jack Links Beef Jerky Wildcard Hand.
America, I am taking applications for a wildcard hand assistant for next year.
A scary thought, somebody training to be another Norman Chad.
Good for you.
Action on Corey Emery. From under the gun, he looks down at pocket 8s.
Security guard in Southern California.
Emery limps in for 60,000. Mizraki with ace-9. Michael folds.
Grinder playing close to the vest. One limper usually leads to many.
No other takers so far. Folded over to Tony Dunst in the small blind. Tony with queen 10. And for 30,000, he calls.
And he puts on his uniform.
Now William Thorson in the big blind. Here we have a Scandinavian Jack Links wildcard hand.
If I could think like him or look like him, I'd be a rich man.
And he checks his option.
In the big blind, I'll put him on a couple of small cards.
3 will see the flop. Trays 6 tray. Emery with 2 pair now. 8s and trays. Dunst first to act. Checks his queen high. Now Thorson. 100,000.
Maybe he's got a 6 in his hand. Maybe he's got a flush draw.
Emery with his pocket 8s comes along.
I don't think Thorson would have bet there if he hit trips. It's either 2 small pair or a heart draw.
Dunst folded, so heads up. Emery and Thorson, 10 of hearts, 3rd heart on the board.
Security guard likes gum.
He's got a close eye on Thorson. Thorson checks. Emery.
Security guard checks his cards again.
And he checks.
I guess Thorson could have checked a flush there, but I've got him on 2 small pair. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
River card is a 9 of spades. Emery with 8s and trays.
That card does not change anything anywhere on the globe.
Thorson.
Oh, here we go.
He's got chips. 450,000.
A pot-sized bet making it look like a bluff. And in this case, Lon, I believe it is a bluff. I trust my read.
Emery makes the call. Thorson shows Queen Nine of Hearts. He turned a flush to win the Jack Links Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
Looks like I should be working in security. I'll see if Corey Emery has any contacts.
Corey may be getting back to his job soon if he keeps losing chips like that.
Easy game.
Thorson is making it look easy, building his stack and becoming a force on day 7 of the main event. Let's get over to table 2 here at the Rio. Chip leader Gabe Koshner with ace-king called a pre-flop re-raise for almost $2 million to put Redmond Lee at risk with pocket queens.
Big race here for 4 million chips.
The flop is 5-6 deuce. Lee and his queens still good. Turn card is a 9. Lee hanging on.
Ace on the river.
Koshner needs an ace or a king to knock out Lee.
The river card's another deuce, and Redmond Lee scores a double up. Lee goes right through the tournament chip leader. He's up to over $4 million now. And Redmond Lee also has a woman here to support him.
Take it outside. This is a card room, not a sock hop.
Out into the field once again with 25-year-old pro Johnny Lawden waiting for the turn with 28-year-old pro Matt Berkey. Jack, deuce, 10, 2 hearts on the flop. Here's the turn. It's an 8 of hearts.
Lawden prefers high-stakes cash games, but the main event's $9 million top prize is high stakes enough for him.
He checks that third heart on board. Berkey from Las Vegas bets it $510,000.
Berkey played baseball at Gannon University in Pennsylvania. They always have excellent middle relief.
Lawden makes the call.
The pot is building, Lon.
All right, the river card now. 5 of diamonds.
Both seem rather unimpressed by the river.
Lawden did check it. Berkey checks. Lawden says, I got jacks. And that's a winner.
To the second feature.
And Johnny Lawden on the verge of excitement.
So Johnny picks up a few chips there. Back to the featured table and a look at the newly designed World Series bracelet. Only Michael Mizrachi and Hassan Habib at this table have won a bracelet. On our FullTiltPoker.net tournament ticker, you see of the 56 bracelet winners that started this main event, only 5 are left remaining in the field. Scott Clements, the only multiple bracelet winner left. LaFrancois and Mizrachi won their first bracelets this year.
And of course, the Grinder won that bracelet in the 50K Poker Players Championship.
You busted me in one of the big scoops this year.
Oh, did I? I swear I was playing all the scoops, and I was playing in a private game, in a big PLO game. Like 6
It's like laptop on a table or something.
Yeah, they're like all pissed off. Like,
yeah, you had to be on tilt with the hand we played.
yeah. Push the raise button until they fold, right?
Play Omaha.
Automatic.
Lon, I don't know how they can concentrate playing online and in a live game at the same time. I can't even change lanes if the car radio's on.
Tony Dunst with ace-5 off. He'll put those into the buck. Over to William Thorson with ace-5 suited.
I'm telling you, Lon, that hair on my head makes me a social force.
A raise to $130,000 from the Swede. Michael Mizrachi with queen 9.
Grinder hides his head of hair, so I think I've got him covered.
He sits this one out. Over to Matt Affleck in the big blind with king 10 off.
Matt thought he might never get this opportunity again after last year's blow-up, but bang, here he is again.
That is amazing. He makes the call and will go heads up with Thorson. Ace 8-6. Thorson hits top pair. Affleck checks. He missed the flop.
He can check for me anytime. I love that motion.
Thorson with the aces, $160,000. Matt Affleck with king high makes the call.
Affleck playing Thorson out of position with no hand. I guess I gotta let him play his game.
Turn card 8 of spades. Thorson with aces up gets the check mark. He also added a flush draw.
Here comes the Matt Affleck Express.
With a paired board, he bets $360,000.
Thorson thrown by that bet, a bit flamooshed, I think.
Reaching for chips.
Actually, it looked like he was going to raise, and he looked over to Matt to see if he can get a reaction out of him.
Thorson just with the call now.
Boy, he keeps looking at my guy Matt. Now he's just a kid with a dream.
River card now. 4 of spades. Thorson improves to the nut flush.
Such a fine line between the Matt Affleck Express and the Matt Affleck train wreck.
$800,000 from Matt.
I'll raise the 2.
Thorson's gonna pop it up to $2 million.
Well, William Thorson is driving this locomotive, and I believe Matt Affleck can go no further.
William Thorson, as he is wont to do, puts the heat on his opponent.
I hope Matt Affleck can go no further.
It would be a pretty sick call.
I'm sick just thinking about it. I'm like the kid's guardian, and I just want to go out there and drag him away before he makes this call with king high. It's just an awful read on Thorson.
I call.
He makes the call.
Show 9-7.
Call.
No, it's not 9-7, Matt.
That was a 2.6 million chip blow up, and now I've got to call his mother.
Matt lost over a third of his stack, making Thorson the new chip leader with almost 12 million. And for Matt's sake, I hope he learned enough from last year not to fall off the edge again. Now it's time for Straight from the Pros, brought to you by PokerStars.net. Dennis Phillips had another deep run in last year's main event, only to find himself on day 6 seated next to a familiar face from the year before.
I'm at the feature table with several notable people. I look down and you get one of those hands you love to have this late in the tournament.
He looks down at pocket aces.
I almost never limp with aces simply because I don't want 4 or 5 people calling. Peter came along and so did another gentleman, so we had 3-way action. The flop came down, first player checked, I checked, Peter makes it 105, first player then folded, which is what I wanted. I'm able to just smooth call that to see another card. It was definitely trapping. Turn comes down, it is the 9 of clubs, so it's 3 clubs on board. At this stage, I don't put Peter on the clubs. Peter takes another stab at the pot. Now I have a decision to make. I'm all in. If I'd have bet on the turn, if I'd have bet on the flop, he would have been gone. I think I got the maximum value out of it.
Dennis Phillips played it beautifully.
You have to play your table, you have to play your position, you have to play your chip count. Peter's taken a lot of chips off me in the past, and I really didn't mind getting some of them back.
Back inside the Rio, just 52 players remaining. Chip average over 4 million. William Thorson, our new chip leader, with nearly 12 million. Right now, Jason Sentai all in again, this time with kings against David Assoulin's jacks. All right, now the flop. It is 5. King, an instant double up for Sentai.
Flop quads. It's a turbo hand, no turn and river needed.
Even Asseline laughs at that. Sentai with a double up. He started the day under $1 million, now up to almost $4 million. What a moment for Jason Sentai, flopping quads to stay alive, and now he finds himself climbing the leaderboard here on day 7. Over at table 2, former chip leader Joseph Cheong watching on as a 7.3 million chip pot is up for grabs. Alex Kostritsin all in with pocket kings. Bryn Kenny has ace queen of hearts and flopped the nut flush draw. Turn card is a tray of diamonds. Kostritsin still ahead.
King of hearts, not good anymore.
Kenny can still knock him out with an ace or any heart other than the king.
The river is a heart. Kenny rivers the killer flush to send Alex Kostritsin to the rail.
All right. Until the very moment he just got knocked out, I would have thought Kostritsin had a decent chance to win this thing. When it ends, it ends.
The 23-year-old Kenny from Long Beach, New York, now with one of the top 10 stacks in the room. Huge pots like that will soon become the norm as big stacks clash and the field condenses. Back to the feature table.
I'm telling you, Lon, Kostritsin was impressive. Thorson and Tony Dunst are impressive. So much young talent left in the field, and everyone just one tough beat from oblivion.
Tony Dunst folds. Folded around 2. Michael Mizrachi. Grinder looks down at Queen Trey and lays it down. Now to Matt Affleck. Ace 4.
The question now is, how will Matt react to the Thorson misstep? Last year, after he lost the chip lead, he was in a rush to get his chips back and ended up bluffing all in with 10 high on a 9-9 deuce flop. He says he's learned from it.
No action before Matt, so he raises from the cutoff seat to 180,000 to Racener with Jack 8 of clubs.
I like Racener, but if he comes to my house for dinner, the shades have to come off.
He calls from the big blind.
And no chewing gum in my dining room.
6-9 ace, couple of clubs. Racener with a flush draw. Affleck hit top pair.
Matt reminds me of Jackie Gleason in The Hustler. He'd move around the pool table like a dancer. Matt is just as nimble at the poker table.
After Racener's check, Affleck bets 250 with his pair of aces. Racener comes along.
Racener reminds me of a guy in sunglasses with chewing gum who I'm not going to let into my home.
It's a queen of spades on the turn. Affleck is still best. Racener picks up a gut shot straight draw and checks again. Affleck checks again.
Oh, how I love the way Matt checks.
Matt gives the free card. No club on the river. Matt dodges disaster, and with aces up, he has the check mark. Racener checks. Matt now.
Look at how he moves.
Matt's going to bet it. 575,000.
How much that?
That's 575,000 more than you're going to put into the pot, my shade-wearing, gum-chewing friend. The pot's about to be ours, Matt.
And Racener does lay it down. Affleck takes it.
Back on track, but I've still got his mom on speed dial.
Matt right now just a bit above where he started day 7. He does have some makeup work to do after that big giveaway to William Thorson. That hand was a pretty good start. Welcome back. We're down to our final 50 players here at the Rio as James Manning is knocked out by Sergei Rybachenko in 51st place. Rybachenko picks up chips. He's still below average. Elsewhere, David Baker is all in again with ace-king of spades. Evgeny Schneider only with ace-9 of diamonds.
Well, the wrong guy's standing up, but Baker figures he's sticking around.
Poker Pro's Greg Mueller on the left and Ray Henson cheering on Baker. The flop now, queen, 5-6. Baker's ace-king is still best.
Baker's safe.
King close.
Isn't that a jinx situation?
Somebody owes somebody a Coke. All right, Baker at risk. Turn card now. Is a 4 of hearts. Baker 1 card from a double up.
Schneider needs a 9 for the knockout.
The river card is a tray of clubs, and Baker doubles up again to almost $3.7 million. Baker and the fabulous Baker boys like that.
You know, for David Baker, that is excessive celebration.
It is. David Baker continues to hang around. Back to the featured table and our tournament chip leader, William Thorson, looking at the tail of the tape, brought to you by the official WSOP game. Play now on Facebook. Thorson has been quite active. He's voluntarily played in 10 of the last 29 hands.
And Thorson proven it's not how many pots you win, it's how much you win in each pot. In the 6 voluntary hands he's won, he's plus 10 million, far exceeding the damage in hands he's lost. No wonder he's a chip leader.
And 2 former heavy hitters at this table trying to replenish their stacks, Affleck and Mizrachi. And if they want to make a withdrawal from the big stack, well, lucky for them, he's here. William Thorson, the chip leader on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky pocket cam with ace-king.
As you might imagine, he doesn't read poker books, he just goes with his instincts.
And he likes to raise it up, and he does here to 200,000 with ace-king. Mizrachi is hung with Thorson a lot when Thorson's in the pot, but Mizrachi will fold that 9 tray. Dewey Lay says no thank you. Folded over now to Tony Dunst. He's in the big blind with ace-queen.
Bad time for ace-queen, and Dunst only with 23 big blinds left.
Tony is going to play.
Raise. Make it 1 million.
I'm all in.
I call.
Tony only had 75,000 more. He just wanted to see 1 million. So Tony at risk. He needs those ladies that were helping him earlier.
Oh, they saw Justin Timberlake in the lobby. They're gone.
All right, we'll see if we can slam out a queen.
So Thorson, the chip leader, trying to get stronger.
Did I take you out in 2006 as well?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Thank God. I actually got this in the reverse in 2006 and lost.
Both of them cashed in 06.
So I guess the World Series owes me one.
Maybe next year, huh?
I don't want to see Tony Dunst leave, but if he loses, this is how you leave, with a smile.
All right, the flop now is 7 deuce 9. Thorson still ahead. That's a big black hole for Dunst.
Dunst 198th at the 06 main event. Thorson was 13th.
Another 9, a trickle of hope for Tony.
That up.
I don't mind. It's okay, you're a nice guy.
With a deuce or 7, they would chop. With a queen, Dunst takes it all. Otherwise, he's done.
It's a king, and Thorson with kings up eliminates Tony Dunst in 50th place.
He was a delight, and he won enough money to maybe buy me a couple of suits.
Almost $169,000 for Tony Dunst.
He dresses with class, and he exits with class.
Good luck, guys.
Another strong run for Tony Dunst. William Thorson has been a force here on day 7. He seized the chip lead and continues to gather momentum.
It's a shark fest at the feature table, Lon. There will be blood.
We're going to be here a long time. Playing down 27-0.
Dewey Lay is correct. Day 7 will not end until only 27 players remain.
It's sick. This is what we started with, guys.
43 now. Yeah, I know. It's going to be...
Right?
From a 30,000 chip starting stack to what is now an average stack of over 4.5 million. Thorson leads with almost 13 million. Joseph Cheong and Candio lurking nearby. Other notable stacks include John Racener with 8.1 million, Matt Affleck with almost 4.9 million, while Michael Mizrachi is about 2 million below chip average. The short stack is Hassan Habib. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky pocket cam, Queen 6. Habib, the only player with main event final table experience. He folds. To Thorson now. Ace Queen of Diamonds.
His first screen name online was Il Capitano, and he just acts as if he's the captain.
The captain raises to 210,000 to the grinder, Ace Jack.
Yeah, he is the grinder, and he's wearing the bracelet he won earlier this year at the 50K Poker Players Championship, his first bracelet.
Thorson made the raise from under the gun +1. Mizrachi makes a re-raise from the hijack position.
He's now the raiser, actually the re-raiser.
To John Racener, he may be a re-raiser also with pocket kings.
He admires Grinder's aggressiveness, says he models his play after him.
And Racener does re-pop it to $1,280,000.
Yeah, there are re-raises, and then there are re-raises. That was a re-raise.
Thorson now knows somebody in the hand is very serious, and he lays it down.
$1,280,000? Yes.
I think this is too much for Grinder. It's 1/3 of his remaining stack. He's getting low, but he probably wants to wait for a better spot.
Lily Mizrachi, Michael's wife, always watching on.
Grinder looks back at his cards, which is usually not a good sign.
Michael folds to Racener's big re-raise, and John wins the pot.
Look out. Ace, queen of diamonds.
Yeah.
I mean, when you fold it now, you might fold ace king though.
I'm not folding ace king.
The losers commiserate.
You have 2 kings?
I had kings.
Grinder was tempted to call, but the disciplined laydown ensures his main event will continue. Norman, we are getting oh so close to poker's ultimate destination. What was once a sea of humanity filled with dreamers is now an exclusive field with realistic expectations. Everyone is within reach of the final table, including this incredible group of players at our feature table.
While this table is packed to the gunnels with terrific tales. Michael Mizrachi is playing for history. John Racener is playing for his dad. Matt Affleck and William Thorson are playing for redemption. Plus, we've got Hassan Habib, the only player left to make a main event final table. If we're not packed to the gunnels, I don't know what gunnels are.
To the outer tables to catch up on former chip leader and bracelet winner Theo Jorgensen. His table mate in the small blind, James Fennell, shoved for about $1.4 million with pocket eights. Jorgensen in the big blind with 9-7 calls to put Fennell at risk.
Fennell, 27-year-old pro from Dublin, and he gets called down here by the motley 9-7 off.
Ace, I got an overcon.
And now everybody at this table knows what Jorgensen is willing to call with. So Fennell at risk. Here's the flop now. 4-7-9, top 2 pair for Jorgensen.
That's a very good 9.
No, that's a very bad 9.
Jorgensen in great shape to knock Fennell off. Turn card ace of spades. Jorgensen with a flush draw now.
Which means Fennell can only stay alive with 1 card, the 8 of hearts.
The river card's a 10 of clubs, and Jorgensen with his 2 pair knocks out Fennell. Fennell walks away with almost $169,000.
Jorgensen likes to gamble. He calls the all-in with 9-7 off and sends Fennell home. The least he should do is pay for his cab fare back to the airport.
Well, the Scandinavians are scary poker players. Nearby, Joseph Cheong with pocket tens called 21-year-old Evan Lamprea's all-in pre-flop, holding ace-jack, 1 card to come. The river card is a tray, and Cheong will win the hand and knock off young Evan Lamprea.
He was a kid with a dream.
Joseph Cheong adds nearly 2 million new chips, and he is once again the tournament chip leader.
The youngest player in the field is now out. There are now only 2 players left that can break Joe Cata's youngest ever main event champ record.
Those players are Michael Weirot and Mikhail Sipkins, both currently seated at table 2. Weirot, the elder of the 2 youngins by about 2.5 months, is watching as Sipkins is dueling with Johnny Lawden. Sipkins raised pre-flop with 4 tray of spades. Lawden called him with queen 9 of clubs.
Lawden, the old man in this hand at age 25.
So these 2 heads up to the flop. It is king 10-8. Neither pairs up. Lawden with a gut shot. Sipkins first to act. He missed the flop, but he's going to bet at 225.
Sipkins showing us the new law of the land. Raise pre-flop with no hand. Lead out post-flop with no hand.
Lawden makes the call. He's got nothing either. Another 8 on the turn. Sipkins sees nothing there he likes. Except chips, 450,000.
Sipkins' plan is to keep shooting until he hits something.
125.
Lawden re-bluffs at it to over 1 million.
Lawden's just hit gold line. That's a great read. Remember, Johnny's got nothing too.
Sipkins now. Yeah, a little unsure about it, and he lays it down.
Could make a big move.
I had a better hand than you.
Bishop Tudu had a better hand than Sipkins, and he doesn't even play poker.
McKeel loses that hand, but he is up more than 1 million chips on the day. Let's get back to our featured table. The lineup there just got tougher. David Baker joins this murderer's row. Baker's already made 2 final tables at this year's World Series. He would love to make it a hat trick. Action is on John Racener now. Racener with King Queen.
Racener's mom deposited $50 for him online when he was 16, and he ran it up to $30,000 in a few months.
He raised it up to $180,000, folded over to Baker. 38-year-old looks down at pocket trays.
He worked in business sales for 10 years before becoming a poker pro.
Baker makes the call. Now to William Thorson. Thorson, 10-9 of diamonds.
I believe if Thorson worked in sales, he'd be salesman of the month like 10 months a year, and the other 2 months, he'd sell nothing.
From the hijack seat, he makes the call. On the button now, Michael Mizrachi with ace-jack.
And he's got the prettiest card in the deck.
I'm all in.
And with that ace of spades and the jack, Grinder moves all in for $1.5 million, and Lily's on edge.
Just a little while ago, ace-jack not good enough for Grinder to call a 4-bet. Here it's good enough to push all in. Grinder sensing some weakness in front of him.
Racener with king-queen lays it down. Now over to Baker with a small pocket pair.
It's not fair. I'm sitting here thinking I got to look over at your wife.
You take on one, you take on all.
You got to be more worried about her, not me.
Baker with the trays. Lays it down now to Thorson.
How much is in there? 720, it's like 800. Yeah, cool.
Thorson makes the call to put Grinder at risk.
Yeah, sure he's going to gamble there, and the Grinder's magical year now in peril.
Indeed, Norman, the whole Mizrachi cast will now sweat the next 5 cards.
The year of the Mizrachis just one bad board away from being over.
These two have tangled before. Thorson has Michael at risk.
I didn't think Williams was a call. The only one I didn't think it was a call.
Thorson says, I would have called from the parking lot.
All right, here's the flop. Michael Mizrachi at risk. It is 7, ace, 5. Mizrachi catches his ace.
Grinder now a 9-1 favorite, and Thorson now wishing he hadn't called.
Now the turn card. It's a jack. Thorson with a gut shot.
Outs. We got outs.
And everyone is talking about the 8 of diamond.
A new set of outs for William Thorson. Any 8 would knock out Michael Mizrachi.
And now the river card. Will it be the Mizrachi's last? It's another ace!
Nuts!
Ace is full, keeps the Mizrachi family around.
I timed the nuts, kid.
Mizrachi Palooza will continue.
Thorson took a shot at eliminating the never say die Grinder, but only made him richer in the process. So Michael collects his 3.6 million chips. Thorson takes the hit. He's down to 11.1 million.
It's not over yet, guys. I'm still in action.
Just when you think he's out, Grinder pulls himself back in. Since Daniel Negreanu captured the inaugural WSOP Player of the Year award in 2004, we've seen an impressive group of winners. Alan Cunningham in 05, followed by Jeff Madsen, Tom Schneider, and Eric Lindgren. But none of them won the award in such dominating fashion as last year's winner, Jeff Lissandro.
Thank you.
Lissandro earned 3 bracelets on his way to becoming the 2009 Player of the Year. Although Lissandro's 3-bracelet effort will not be beat this year, Frank Casella, who had 2 wins, is guaranteed at least a share of the Player of the Year title.
That's right. There's one guy who can catch him. The man they call the Grinder is still mathematically in the hunt.
Grinder, can you get Player of the Year? Grinder? Can you get Player of the Year or no?
Up to win.
You got to win it? Wow.
It's a tie.
For a tie?
For a tie? What, Frank? Wow.
Frank has come here to make sure that doesn't happen. Is that a taser he's carrying?
Frank would have won Player of the Year outright had Thorson eliminated Michael in that last hand, but the Grinder sticks around. All right, we continue here at the featured table. Racener with ace-king.
Back when we were on the money bubble, Racener had less than 15 big blinds left, but it's been smooth sailing since then.
From first position or under the gun, a raise to 180 by Racener. Habib with jack 7 of clubs, lays it down. Now to Michael Mizrachi. Michael looks down at ace-king also.
That's pretty much the same cards as Racener line.
Pretty much so. And he re-raises to 580,000. Matt Affleck from Seattle on the button, lays down 10 deuce. Dewey Lay gets rid of his hand, so the re-raise back to John Racener.
And he has pretty much the same cards as Grinder, Lon.
And he puts the same amount of chips in the middle. So like 2 gunslingers with the same weapon, Racener and Grinder take their ace-kings to the flop. It's king 4-7 rainbow. A chop pot is guaranteed if they show down on the river. Racener checks.
They both like the flop line because they pretty much have the same strong hand.
Top pair, top kicker. Mizrachi bets it though, 600,000.
What's Mizrachi got?
Ace-king.
What's Racener got?
Ace-king.
Fascinating.
Racener called. Tray of spades on the turn. Racener checks again.
Racener and Grinder have become friends playing poker the last few years.
Grinder continues to fire 925.
Racener doesn't like playing big pots. He'll check call a lot, trying to control the size of the pot.
He does check call here. So 4.4 million in the pot now.
Oh my goodness, there goes the trip to Bermuda.
River card now is another 4. Racener checks a third time.
Grinder peeks at his cards again. They're the same as Racener's.
Michael.
1 million.
He's going to fire again. 1 million.
I guess we can go to Disney World again.
Michael's getting in very deep, and Lily knows it.
Racener chewing and ruminating. They both have the same cards.
They don't know that, though, yet.
You either got aces or ace king.
Do they know each other, or do they know each other?
Right.
Oh, does Robert come on family vacations?
I call.
Racener makes the call. There's one ace king. And Racener shows the other. A collective sigh of relief here at the Rio.
Lon, they both had ace-king, like I said. Too bad that wasn't the wild card hand.
And they will chop it.
And Mrs. Grinder can relax.
Would you fold to the turn if I check raised?
Good answer.
Quite a test of wills for these two top players, and the appropriate result. Out into one of the 4 tables in the field, Russian pro Sergei Rybachenko with a king-high flush draw was just raised all in after the flop by Kun Soy-Win, who flopped top pair. Does Rybachenko want to risk it all here? He does make the call.
So now it will be a race for Sergei Rybachenko's main event life.
Win the amateur trying to knock off the Russian pro. Turn card 8 of spades, Rybachenko with a lot of outs.
Rybachenko still looking for a king, queen, or heart, or he is done.
The river card is a 7 of clubs. Soy-Win fades all danger and takes the last of Rybachenko's chips. 45th place for Rybachenko, by far his biggest live tournament score, over $206,000.
And the 37-year-old amateur from Southern California keeps stacking chips.
Over $7.7 million now for Soy-Win. All right, let's get back to table 2, where Italian Filippo Candio sits with his lucky sweater. Either that or he only packed for one day here in Vegas, Norman. Queen 5 off. He lays it down to Jonathan Duhamel, 22-year-old French-Canadian poker pro. Pocket 8s.
He says he likes to shadow box when he comes back from breaks. It helps him regain his focus.
He makes a raise to $200,000.
I'd shadow box, but I'm afraid I'd hit myself.
Or me. Over to Matt Berkey, 28-year-old, lives in Vegas, transplant from Pennsylvania, 10-6 of diamonds in the big blind. He makes the call. All right, heads up now to the flop. It is 6 tray 6. Berkey hits trip 6s. Duhamel left with his pocket 8s. Berkey checks it. Duhamel bets it, 245. Berkey with a check raise now to $625,000.
Berkey looks like he's guilty of something.
Duhamel will make that call.
And Duhamel in awful shape here.
Here's the turn card. 8 of diamonds. Duhamel in great shape now. 8's full.
Where did that card come
No
from?
kidding. Berkey checks again.
I didn't even know there's an 8 of diamonds in the deck.
Duhamel now checks his boat.
Well, they both slow play their big hands.
A deuce on the river. Duhamel now with a check mark. Berkey now wants to lead out. Too bad. $1.2 million.
He bets 2/3 the pot, and Berkey is looking for a call here.
Duhamel
Mullen
raises all in.
And a huge decision here for Berkey with trip 6s. This would be for almost all of the Las Vegas pros chips.
Call.
Berkey makes Duhamel's day.
8s?
Yeah.
That's so sick.
So sick, Lon.
8's full of 6s for Duhamel, and he takes that $7.8 million chip pot.
Duhamel gets healthy, and Berkey needs some health care.
Duhamel not scared off by the check raise.
I have chips.
And he hits bingo on the turn to double up. Now it's time for Straight from the Pros, brought to you by PokerStars.net. On day 1 of the 09 main event, Daniel Negreanu was not feeling well, but his radar still managed to get him out of a potentially dangerous situation.
It was the first hand that I was in the small blind. Normally I limp in. I decided I'm going to raise here because I had 2 aces, and I wanted to put a little more money in the pot. He called, and the flop came 7-7-8. I bet, and he called. So right off the bat, I'm a little bit worried. He's either got an 8, a 7, or some kind of a straight draw. Well, the turn is an 8. Now I can't beat a 7 or I can't beat an 8. Check it. There's also a flush draw there. I check and he checked it. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe my aces are good. River card came a spade. Check it. I checked and he bet again, 800. I was like, really? Everything added up to me just thinking that, okay, he flopped the 7 and was going to trap me. Poker is more than just reading people's faces, and in that hand, he definitely looked comfortable to me, but it was more just trying to putting him on a hand. Of the 4 possibilities he could have, 3 of them beat me, and the other one he probably doesn't have, because if he did, he would have bet the turn.
Daniel folds.
A lot of times when it's really cheap in the early stages of a tournament, I like to call just to see what they had, to see if I'm right. But in this case, I was just so sure. You know, I just felt like a waste.
45 players remain here at the Rio. Only 2, Habib and Thorson, have been this deep in a main event before. They're both at the feature table. Action on Corey Emery, an amateur from Southern California, 7-4 of clubs, into the muck. Mizrachi now with pocket 5s.
Grinder played football in high school, but he loves playing basketball now.
Grinder from under the gun +2 raises to $180,000 to Matt Affleck with ace-king.
He also plays basketball, but he prefers golf.
Affleck with the ace-king re-raises to $500,000.
Actually, Matt prefers raising pots to anything else.
Dewey Lay with ace-queen.
1.4.
And Dewey Lay's going to re-pop it to $1.4 million.
Boy, that reminds me of when Lay 4-betted with ace-queen on day 6 and got Jeff Banghart to lay down pocket jacks.
Baker lays down his big blind, so action back to Mizrachi in the pocket 5s.
Grinder the original raiser, and he has seen 2 raises behind him.
Grinder retreats.
Can't say I blame him.
The ace-king now of Affleck. All in for $4.8 million.
Boy, that might cast a different light on ace-queen. $3.5 million more to Dewey Lay.
Ace-queen in the muck. Affleck wins the pot.
Got a decent pair. You show the flop or no? Well, give me a rabbit cam.
No.
You can't get a rabbit cam here?
No rabbit cam.
Give me a rabbit one time.
They want to see what the flop would have been. 6-8 jack.
I didn't flop myself.
They're not supposed to do that.
I saved money. No, you weren't. I was kidding.
So Affleck will take that uncontested pot. It brings his total now to more than $6.6 million. Mizrachi had to fold his hand. He has lost over half his stack here on day 7. And that does not sit well with Lily Mizrachi, nervous as usual, but she's not going anywhere. Katie Lederer, the sister of Howard Lederer, still watching her boyfriend Ben Stotts. He's in a hand right now, facing an all-in pre-flop from Nicolas Babel with ace-king.
Babel graduated from École Nationale Supérieure de Télécommunications de Paris. I believe they are the Rambling Wreck.
With pocket 10, Stotts makes the call to put Babel at risk with his ace-king. $4.6 million in the middle. Stotts trying to take it all. All right, now here's the flop. It is 9-5-8 Stotts with his pocket 10 still ahead.
Babel has an engineering degree and a master's in management. That's no good here.
Turn card another 9, no help to Babel.
Babel looking for an ace or a king, or he is eliminated.
The river card, oh, is the ace! And the Frenchman comes through with the double up.
I hope Ben Stott shielded his eyes during that mini celebration. I can't understand him. My French accent is better.
Stotts takes the hit, but he's still up for the day. Nearby, day 2 chip leader David Asseline has 2 pair with the river card out. Pascal Lefrancois with a full house bet enough to put Asseline all in.
If Asseline calls, he's gone.
Asseline does call, and he will be gone in 44th place.
You hate calling off all your chips. 33 big blinds down the drain. Main event over.
$206,000, though, for David Asseline. A nice run here. Pascal Lefrancois moves into 3rd place with 11.5 million chips. All right, big doings over at table 2. Filippo Candio has $700,000 in the pot pre-flop with pocket 5s. Johnny Lawden also in the pot, holding ace-deuce, while short-stacked Matt Berkey is all in for his last $85,000 with 4-deuce. 3 players to the flop, Berkey at risk. It's Jack 10 Queen, Candio ahead with his pocket 5s. Lawden with a Broadway draw. Candio bets into the side pot.
That surprises me. He doesn't have much and was an all-in player. You often see the others check it down. Candio actually got mad at another player for doing the same thing to him earlier in the main event.
Lawden will lay it down, so Candio has Berkey all to himself, and Candio way ahead.
Candio now a near certainty to knock off Berkey.
Turn card is a king. Lawden would have hit Broadway had he stuck around. Candio still way ahead.
We'll sweat.
Berkey now needs an ace or a 9 to chop the pot and survive.
It's a 4 of diamonds. Matt Berkey eliminated from the main event as Candio takes all his chips. The 28-year-old Berkey with his biggest ever live tournament payout.
Candio doesn't know how fortunate he is he bet the flop.
Giocatevele tutti all'ultima mano prima del break.
Boy, he's got a terrible Italian accent.
I think he said, I'm not going anywhere. You guys are in big trouble. Or something like that. Back inside the Rio, just 42 players remain in the main event. 3 of them at table 2 are about to see a turn card. Filippo Candio holds pocket sevens and is way behind. Patrick Skander has ace high, while Jonathan Duhamel leads the 2 of them with a pair of kings, almost 800,000 in the middle. Turn card 9 of clubs, Duhamel and his 2 kings are still best. Skander checks. Duhamel now with the best hand. He bets at 360,000.
Duhamel decides the water is safe. I don't think the water is ever safe, Lon.
Well, certainly not for Candio, who calls with his smaller pair.
Candio in terrible shape in this hand.
Squeeze play, huh?
Nobody bunted.
Skander folds. Heads up, Duhamel and Candio. 10 on the river, Duhamel with a check mark with the kings. Duhamel first to act. And he's going to bet it 215.
215?
Yeah.
That's not a bet. That's a deposit on a motor scooter.
Candio with a raise to 715.
Oh, Candio was calling the turn to bluff the river. See, the water's never safe.
It is not. Duhamel calls for $500,000.
He's a non-believer.
Sevens.
Yeah, Candio doesn't feel his sevens are good, and they are not. Duhamel takes the pot with kings.
Duhamel swims to safety, and Candio sinks into the river.
So Jonathan gets the best of the Italian. Duhamel has no problem playing big pots in critical situations in the biggest live poker event in the world. He lives to be in high-pressure moments.
I live by adrenaline.
Yeah, baby!
I did jump in the stratosphere, the bungee thing.
Vegas, yeah!
I do a lot of sports. I don't like sitting back on the chair and doing nothing. That's not me. I like action.
That's good.
I like people racing me. I'm gonna play back at you. I'm gonna play with you. And I like that.
Come on. An ace?
You can put so much pressure in someone's head just by throwing chips in the middle.
Yeah, don't worry.
It's really tough for some people to handle. When I get to the Amazon room, I'm so focused, so in the zone, so in the game. You know, I go in the zone and, okay, you ready? Are you ready, John? You ready? Okay, let's do it. The only thing I'm thinking is winning that tournament. I know I can do it. I know I can play a good poker. So if I play good poker, if cards are with me, then you'll see me November 9th.
Duhamel also plays a lot of hockey, but he's a defenseman. I don't get it. In poker, he's all offense.
To the outer tables, Minneapolis poker pro Jason Sintai flopped aces up and bet 525,000. 2 players folded. Action on Matthew Bucharic with only top pair.
Bucharic, a 24-year-old pro.
I'm all in.
That would put Jason Sintai all in.
You have over 5 or whatever, right?
Sentai makes that call, and he looks to be headed for a hefty double-up through Bucharic.
Hi, Jesse. I'm all in.
Sentai in great shape to double up against Bucharic. 2 young college grads here. Nice to see that.
Turn card is a 6. Sentai still ahead, but he can't relax yet.
With a river 6, they would chop the pot. Only a king knocks Jason Sentai out.
The river card is a deuce of clubs, and Sentai with the double-up. Bucharic ships about half his stack across the table.
The 28-year-old Sentai now in good shape with about 75 big blinds.
It's a bit of it's a cooler.
And Sentai remains in this field of 42. On the tournament ticker brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net, we take a look at how this field breaks down. The average age is 30. The oldest player, Hassan Habib. The youngest, Mikhail Sipkins. 12 countries still represented. 5 bracelet winners are left. Back at the feature table, Michael Mizrachi back in the danger zone under $2.5 million. You can see why. He's voluntarily played in 9 of the last 22 hands. His record is not all that impressive. His biggest win, his pre-flop all in. Action here on Damian Luis with pocket 4s.
At that end of the table, Lon, you must wear sunglasses or they will not seat you.
A raise to 180,000. Racener lays it down.
Boy, Hassan Habib's been sitting on a short stack forever.
And he is still here, but he'll lay that hand down. Over to Corey Emery. 7-6 of spades.
He once lost 100 pounds in a 1-year period. So what? I once gained 100 pounds in a one-year period. To each his own.
From the button, Emery makes that call. Mizrachi now in the small blind, ace, deuce of clubs.
The lure of the suited ace from the small blind. So many men before us have given in to its temptation.
And Mizrachi does likewise, makes the call. The big blind, Matt Affleck.
He's rotating 7 Seattle jerseys here at the main event. This is day 7. What's he going to do if he makes it to day 8?
Exactly. Jack 8 of clubs, he's in the pot as well.
That's just bad planning, Lon. Would have killed the kid to buy an 8th jersey.
4 players will see a flop. It is King 5-8. Affleck is best with his pair of 8s. Emery with an up and down straight draw. Mizrachi checks, he missed. Matt now with middle pair. He checks. Luis, his pocket 4s are rags, and he checks. Emery lets him see a free turn card.
Why do they all have chips if they're not going to use them?
Turn card now. 5 of clubs. Affleck with 2 pair now and a jack-high flush draw. Mizrachi with a nut flush draw. And he bets about half the pot, 400,000.
Yeah, Grinder picks up a draw and thinks he's king of the world. He's just head of the Mizrachi family.
Affleck, with the best hand, makes the call. Luis folds. He was drawing thin. Emery gets out of the way.
If a club comes on the river, we're going to see some fireworks.
River card now. 7 of diamonds. Affleck with the check mark. Grinder missed his draw.
That's right, Matt. Take a look at him. He's just a Mizrachi.
Grinder is going to bet it, though. He likes to do that. 600,000.
We've seen this before from Grinder. Busted hand on the river, and he bets it.
Affleck pausing now. And lays the best hand down, giving too much credit to Michael.
Grinder outplays Affleck, and boy, he needed that.
If you want to show one.
Grinder doesn't want to show any.
And he'll take in a few more chips.
I just wanted to make your fans happy.
You have flush draw?
8 with clubs. You had 6-7. It was a very good bet.
Matt with the right idea. Grinder was just on a draw.
Affleck takes the small hit.
You'll be on tilt. Don't watch the TV for that.
Mizrachi winning every which way he can. Welcome back to the Rio and the 2010 main event. The dealer at the feature table gets the cards in the air, and one of our 9 players will have the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
My motto is, Lon, if first you don't succeed, fail, fail again.
John Racener has the wildcard hand.
Racener and I come from different worlds. Different worlds! Plus, he's half my age, and he's smarter than me.
Racener reaching for chips, so that wildcard hand raised to 235.
From UTG plus 2, I'll put him on something like pocket 5s or 6s.
5s or 6s is Norman's guess. Folded over to Matt Affleck. In the big blind, King Jack offsuit.
Last year, day 6 was a disaster for him. This year, he got through day 6, and here on day 7, he can think about the November 9.
And for 135,000 more, he makes the call from the big blind. So Racener and Affleck will see a flop. Now the flop is 10-5, Queen 2 spades. Affleck with an up and down straight draw. And Racener might have a set, Norman?
Possibly.
Affleck first to act, and he checks.
I've been practicing checking like that at home. It's harder than it looks.
It's a little painful. Racener reaching for chips. 340,000.
He could have a set of 5s, or he could be betting a pocket pair like 6s.
Affleck with his straight draw will come along and see a turn card at least.
I just have a tough time reading someone with shades, 2 earrings, and chewing gum.
A tray of clubs on the turn. Affleck gets no help.
Tray of clubs changes nothing as usual.
Matt just with king high checks again.
If Racener's got a set, he's not going to give Matt a free card here.
I guess no set.
Racener might not even have a pair. Why would he give Matt a free card?
River card is a 4 of spades, a 3rd spade on board.
And there are 13 spades in the deck.
Affleck now
pulling a grinder here.
Leaps into action, bluffing on that board with straight and flush possibilities, 650.
Yeah, he misses his draw but bets the river. He reads weakness from John Racener.
Racener looks down at 9-8 of hearts, a busted straight draw.
That's all he had? I think it's safe to say I completely whiffed on that one.
Affleck wins the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
You try to guess sometime.
All the hubbub at that outer table indicates someone's all in, and indeed with ace-king, 2-time bracelet winner Scott Clements is at risk. Called down by Ben Stotts and his pocket kings.
Stotts, the New York amateur. Clements with 7 World Series final tables. Solid player.
Here's the flop and an ace for Clements. He surges into the lead.
Someone needs to tell Scott Clements he's surging into the lead.
It's a tray on the turn. Clements one card from doubling.
For Stotts now, only the last king of the deck would knock out Clements.
The river card is a 7, and Clements will double up. Stotts taking the blows.
Stotts takes another tough beat. Clements quietly sticks around.
Scott keeps his hopes alive for a third World Series bracelet. At another table, 3 players saw a flop. Theo Jorgensen has the nut flush draw. He checked, called a bet of $500,000. Soy Win flopped top pair and check raised to $1.5 million. Brandon Steven, who bet the flop, just folded, so action now back to Jorgensen. Jorgensen with the draw re-raises to $4.5 million.
This is getting serious now. Jorgensen with the semi-bluff, trying to push Soy Win off his hand.
Win with a pair of kings.
Come on.
It's all in.
I call.
And Jorgensen makes the call, Norman.
Wow, look at this pot. Nearly 20 million chips. 2 guys with a lot of gamble in them.
Jorgensen on the draw. Soy Win now discovers he's ahead with the kings.
With more than 100 big blinds left, Win risks it all with top pair. And Jorgensen with his draw now has 9.3 million chips at risk. Whoever wins here will easily be the new chip leader.
10 of diamonds, Win still ahead. Jorgensen with a lot of outs.
Jorgensen looking for an ace or any club to knock out Soy Win.
The river card, a tray of diamonds, and Soy Win takes the pot.
Soy Win is super stoked. Theo Jorgensen is short stacked.
Jorgensen went for the big score on the draw and came up short. Soy Win, the Southern California amateur, is now the leader here on day 7. Unbelievable. Only at the main event. Welcome back to the Rio. The poker room still buzzing about that last hand. One-time chip leader Theo Jorgensen shipping almost 10 million chips to the new top dog Soy Win. Win with an incredible 19.5 million leads everyone. Joseph Cheong in second place. Thorson, LeFrancois, Candio, and Duhamel the others with 10 million plus. Soy Win spreading the news of his good fortune like Chris Moneymaker and Darvin Moon before him. Soy is a regular guy chasing a dream, but when it comes to inexperience at the table, he might have them all beat.
I'm a director of operations for a durable medical equipment supply company out in Southern California. I really don't play poker at all. I know this sounds so crazy, but if I were to say maybe once every 6 months, I would probably be stretching it. Never expected to make it this far. I just wanted to go to someday tell my grandkids that, hey, I've been there, I played in it. Nice hand, man. I don't know where I should be as far as chip-wise and what the average stack and all that stuff. I don't know all that lingo and what that means. Tight, aggressive, no, I don't know what that means. Implied odds, don't know what that is. UG plus 3, I don't even know what that is. Under the gun, I always kind of understood, which is the position right before the blind, correctly. Don't know what that is at all. Never heard of the term hold equity. Everybody out there is gonna probably laugh at me now. I'm just gonna try my best and figure it out. This whole entire experience, if I had to sum it up in one word, it would be surreal.
It's a main event wonder, the average Joe Soy Win chip leader with just 41 players left.
To another player who was his own best cheering section, Michael Skinder.
Let's go.
Skinder with pocket tens, trying to eliminate John Dolan at risk with ace-queen of clubs, and Dolan catches an ace to grab the advantage.
Skinder the basketball pro, Dolan the poker pro.
Turn card tray of spades, Skinder gets no help.
Only a 10 sends John Dolan home.
It's a queen on the river. Ace is up for Dolan. Will keep him in the tournament, but he's short on ammunition with just 2.9 million.
I'm still in the tournament.
He's playing on fumes with only 7 big blinds. All right, let's get back over to table 2. Canadian Jonathan Duhamel with king high is waiting on Californian Patrick Skander, who flopped a flush draw.
Skander, another amateur hanging deep with the pros. He's a medical practice manager.
Reaching for chips, 675,000.
Duhamel says he loves when people play at him.
Duhamel loves to be aggressive himself with a raise to 1.55 million.
Raising with absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Skander makes the call.
With the diamond draw.
All right, so a turn card with 4.2 million in the middle. 4 of hearts misses both. Duhamel still ahead. Skander checks.
Here comes the adrenaline junkie.
He loves to push the chips. Over 2.3 million from Duhamel.
Duhamel king high and no draw.
How can Skander continue here?
It's a big bet.
The problem for Skander, even if he puts Duhamel on a move, his 10 high can't be anything at the moment.
I guess your trips are good. My fault.
Skander gives up his hand. Duhamel didn't have trips, nothing near.
Millions you won on a big hand.
Show the bluff. We haven't seen one for a while.
It's not a bluff. He's got trips.
It's not a bluff, you know it.
He's got me beat.
Yeah, ace queen, no good. You know that.
I got better than ace queen, but it's still, I don't think it's any good.
Trips? No good, dude.
I'm over the board.
Poker players breathe and poker players lie. That's their day.
And this day has been very good to Jonathan Duhamel. He's up to more than $13.2 million. Now back to the dangerous featured table, which still includes the 12 million chip man William Thorson of Sweden, recent bracelet winner Michael Mizrachi, along with Hassan Habib, a bracelet winner himself who finished 4th at the 2000 main event. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam, Habib with ace-king.
Hassan won his bracelet in 2004 in stud 8.
Habib, short stacked, moves all in for his last $460,000. William Thorson now. He looks down at ace-queen.
Thorson owns some horses, says he gets a rush from horse racing just like he does from poker.
And he makes the call to put Habib officially at risk. Now to Mizrachi, 9-6. Not suited, I guess, so he won't play. Affleck folds. Dewey Lay gives it up over to Damian Luis. Pocket fours. He's short stacked also.
I'm all in.
And he moves all in.
I guess I'm on a mission for 2 short stacks.
Thorson the bounty hunter with a smile.
Thorson with the ace-queen makes the call to put both Habib and Luis at risk.
I get a rush off of a 3-way all-in.
Habib with the ace-king, Luis with the pocket fours.
Habib at risk, Luis also at risk, but he has Habib covered.
Luis right now with the best hand.
I'm rooting for you a bit. I want you to hit an ace. Because I win side pot, so I'm happy.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, buddy.
So let's celebrate together.
Right.
Well, if they're celebrating, I guess Damian Luis won't be.
And now the flop. And Thorson got his wish. There's an ace. Habib takes the lead with his better kicker. Thorson ahead in the side pot with Luis, who's in trouble.
Luis on the edge.
A 6 on the turn. Habib can triple up. Thorson got no help. Luis needs some river magic.
Thorson can knock out both players with a river queen. Luis has to have a 4 or he's gone.
River is a 5. Habib triples up to almost $1.6 million. Thorson wins the side pot and eliminates Damian Luis. He'll win over $206,000.
Hassan Habib hanging around, still with a small stack.
Thorson still with one of the bigger stacks over $12 million.
We should rename Hassan the Grinder.
Hassan the Grinder?
Grinding out
No, there's only one grinder.
Short stack.
There's only one grinder, buddy.
There may be only one grinder, but Hassan Habib is proving he is one tenacious guy. He's not going down without a fight. Back at the Rio, 40 players remaining, including Michael Skinder right now, who's all in with 9-7 off.
No, I'll sit down. I'm not going away. I'm not going away.
Gianni Dorenzo with King 10 trying to send the confident German pro basketball player back to the hardwood. The flop now. Trey ace 4, all hearts. Dorenzo still best with King high, plus he's got the better flush draw.
Well, it looks like Michael Skinder will be going away.
Turn card now is a 5. That puts a wheel draw on the board and gives Skinder a straight draw to the 7.
With a non-heart deuce, they split. With a non-heart 9, 7, or 6, Skinder doubles up. Otherwise, he's gone.
It is a deuce of diamonds, and that will be a split pot.
I'm not going home, man. I'm not going home.
If he wants to go home, I will drive him home.
Hey, first time in the tournament, I'm all in, and I'm not going home.
I got the keys in the ignition.
Sometimes just chopping a pot is running good. Over to Jonathan Driscoll, who's all in.
No, I'm standing up. I'm going to win this.
He's also confident his King 9 will eventually overtake the pocket jacks of Brandon Steven.
The apple farmer versus the car dealer only at the main event.
And a set of jacks for Steven.
Early celebration.
Driscoll did pick up a flush draw. Turn card now is a 10 of hearts. Driscoll adds a straight draw.
So Driscoll needs a queen or a diamond or he's gone.
The river card is a 9 of diamonds. Driscoll was right twice. His king high flush earns him the double up.
And just like that, Jonathan Driscoll's got 30 big blinds.
Still below the chip average, but he's okay with that for the time being. Back to the featured table and the tail of the tape presented by the official WSOP game. Play now on Facebook. A comparison of the voluntary hands played by Mizrachi and Thorson. Grinder's been busier and it's paid off.
Well, indeed, Mizrachi's more active, but his plus differential is due to one big hand he won, his ace-jack pre-flop all in. It's not how many pots you win, it's the size of the pots you win.
The big picture, though, still favors Thorson, who owns over 12 million chips and is in second place overall in this main event. Thorson looks down at pocket sevens.
Thorson and his good buddy Johnny Lawden, both still around with 5 tables left in the main event. Pretty remarkable.
Thorson limps in for 100,000. Grinder folds king tray.
Of course, Grinder and his brothers, quite remarkable.
Affleck now in the small blind, queen jack of diamonds.
And Matt, remarkable all on his own. Second straight deep main event run.
He raises the action to 375,000. The big blind folds back over to Thorson. With the pocket sevens, Thorson will come along.
2 young whippersnappers.
Here's the flop. It is 5 deuce 9 rainbow. Thorson's pocket sevens are the best hand. Affleck with 2 overcards to the board bets 475,000.
Matt snaps his whip again.
Thorson has chips, just a call.
Thorson says, "Where do you think I'm going? I've got a 6-month visa."
Turn card now. 6 of diamonds. Thorson 7 still lead. He picked up a straight draw. Affleck with a flush draw.
Matt on a precarious path.
900,000 into the pot from Matt.
If he stumbles, tournament rules prevent me from picking him up.
Thorson.
He wants to play. He always wants to play.
He's got the best hand, and he makes the call.
Well, Thorson's picked up his own draw, plus he's got the best hand, as you say, a good read, and that visa.
The river card now is an 8 of diamonds. Affleck hits his flush. That also gave Thorson a straight.
That's a ridiculous card. There's got to be something in the Geneva Convention against that.
Affleck betting the whole way. That may have disguised the flush. Bets 1.4 million here.
The value bet. That's my boy. Thorson cannot put him on diamonds.
Really?
He smells a diamond rat, though.
Thorson started this hand with over 12 million.
I don't have the feeling you're bluffing.
Boy, his radar is spot on. I'd be raising here, and Thorson might fold. He's getting 4.5 to 1 on a call.
He says, "I want to see your cards, Matt." And Matt shows him the flush.
Well, Thorson had to make the call, but he seemed to sense he was beat.
William looks a little surprised. And that lucky river card puts a smile on the face of Matt Affleck.
That's my boy. I do like Thorson's hair, though.
Thorson down to 9.2 million in 7th place. Affleck up to 9.5 million.
And he's now in 6th. I've got to call his mother.
Nice hand, bro.
Matt Affleck, not the only one who played well today. All of the heavy hitters at our featured table have been impressive. Let's take a look at the 5 biggest stacks. Kuhn, a.k.a. Soywin, heads the pack. Second place, Joseph Cheong with 14 million. The 5 shortest stacks include one of the youngest remaining, Michael Weirot, the oldest, Hassan Habib, and the tallest, German pro hoopster, Michael Skinder. There is 48-year-old Hassan Habib, one of 5 bracelet winners left in this main event field. Another one is sitting right here. Of course, Michael won the first event of this 2010 World Series.
Mike, is that your first bracelet?
Yeah. This would be my second. It'd be pretty cool, right?
Does either of your brothers have one?
Rob has the PLO championship. I came third in that.
10K PLO?
Yeah, I came third the next year.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Grinder's made 3 final tables this year, and he would tie Frank Casella for Player of the Year if he wins the main event.
Action on John Racener. No bracelet, but did win a World Series circuit event on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky pocket cam. He looks down at Jack 5 and lays it down. Over to Habib now. 10 of diamonds, Jack of spades.
I saw Hassan showing his 04 Ferrari F360 Spider on Card Player TV. He said, "I wish I could live in it."
He raises to 230. Thorson folds, as does Corey Emery, over to the grinder. On the button with Jack 5 of clubs.
Hassan says driving to Las Vegas, he once hit 160 miles per hour for a split second.
Of course, we don't recommend that.
I usually take the bus.
Folded to Dewey Lay in the big blind, ace 8.
Lay does not have a Ferrari, but he's got the better hand.
He calls for 130,000 more. The flop 9-5-7. Lay with a gut shot to the 9. Habib with a gut shot to the jack.
And Lay with the Matador check.
Over to Habib now.
Hassan says he loves listening to hip-hop in his Ferrari. I would have put him on smooth jazz.
He'll take the free turn card. Turn card is an 8, and Habib fills his straight. That also gave Lay second pair. Lay spreads out 230,000.
I guess that's a Matador bet.
Habib just with the call.
160 miles per hour in his Ferrari, but Hassan driving very slowly here.
Habib now with the check mark, going to the river. 4 of diamonds. Lay slows down a little bit. He does check it.
The Matador check again.
All in.
Vroom, vroom.
It is all in for 660,000 from Hassan Habib.
This would be for 13% of Dewey Lay's stack.
Lay looking at the board. What does Hassan have?
Oh, okay. Diamonds.
Not diamonds, but he's on the right track.
And he folds. Habib will pick up a few more chips.
The king, huh?
He had a straight.
He had king, queen of diamonds.
He had a straight.
They knew he had a straight. Hassan's still not in the fast lane. He doesn't have that many chips.
Hassan Habib.
He also fist pumps when he doesn't get a speeding ticket.
Nice hand, Hassan. I hope you bluff to be nicer.
Hassan's still under 2 million, but as we know, anything can happen in the main event, and that's what makes this a one-of-a-kind experience.
Norman, what a magnificent main event this has already been. We've seen the second largest field in poker history, witnessed 4 brothers cash in the same year, and watched Johnny Chan's run for another title come up painfully short. And though we are nearly done with day 7, there is still a lot of drama yet to unfold.
If you had told me at the start of this main event that 2 good friends would still be among the final 40, I would have said that's far-fetched. If you had told me that Matt Affleck would make a deep run for the 2nd straight year, I would have said you're crazy. And if you had told me that Michael Mizrachi would still be in the running for Player of the Year, I would have laughed in your face. Well, the joke's on me, but hey, what else is new?
Buck up, partner. The unpredictable nature of the main event, just one reason why it is so much fun to watch. Let's go out into the field to find a player who has been fun to watch, Michael Skinder. Right now, Skinder is just a 6'8" bystander in a hand between Jason Sentai and Edward Oshana. Oshana checked the turn on a board of 4-5 Queen Tray.
Sentai, the 28-year-old Minneapolis pro.
And he's putting some chips together, 735,000.
Oshana, 36 years old, a pro from Chicago.
And he makes the call. So these two will see a river card. 7 of spades. Oshana first to act. He checks again. Sentai bets again, this time almost 1.3 million.
Oshana, known as Fast Eddie, will take a moment to think about it.
Call.
Straight.
Sentai says he's got a straight. He shows A6 for a rivered straight.
It's been a good table change.
I'm running well. Sentai bet every step of the way and then got there. That's running well.
Oshana not running well, lost a lot of chips today, but look at this. Sentai started today under $1 million, now with almost $9 million. Over now to Ben Stotts, who was all in versus Gabe Costner. Stotts pocket jacks leading the ace-king of Costner as we're going to the flop.
I'm using my one time right now. One time. I'm using it. I know you're using it. Now's the time.
Ben's girlfriend, Katie Lederer, nearby.
Aren't you supposed to use your one time when you're behind? I mean, would you call a tooth fairy if you hadn't lost a tooth?
After the flop, Stotts' jacks are still best. Another 9, Stotts with jacks up now.
This is Stotts' one time, no ace or king, and he survives.
The river card is an 8, and Stotts dodges all trouble and scores a nice double up to 8.7 million.
Well, Stotts has used up his one-time line. I'm marking it. It's like wasting a replay challenge on a 4-yard play.
A lucky day 7 for Ben Stotts so far. Back over to the imposing figure of Michael Skinder. He's in the hand this time, all in against John Dolan. Skinder's kings ahead of Dolan's ace-10.
Do you see Skinder using his one-time here? No, he's a smart man.
All right, here's the flop. It is King Jack 8. Broadway draw for Dolan, but Skinder hits a set.
Thinking. 8.
Got it.
8 Jack King.
Turn card is a 5. No help to Dolan.
I had the bad feeling before the hand. I don't know. Give me an ace.
Only a queen knocks out Skinder.
River card's a 7. Skinder with the set doubles up.
Oh, back in business, guys.
And he's got a one-time in his hip pocket.
From a short stack to the tallest stack, chip leader Soy Win is watching as Brandon Steven has a chance to knock off 2 players. Steven with ace-king of diamonds leading Jacob Tusteson's ace-jack off, but Jonathan Driscoll leads with pocket kings.
Tusteson, a Danish pro. Driscoll, the Canadian apple farmer.
And the flop. All diamonds! and Steven flops the nut flush.
And Steven now on the verge of the double knockout.
Driscoll feeling the icy grip of elimination, as does Tusteson. Turn card is another queen. Driscoll looking for some help. Tusteson drawing dead and eliminated.
Celebrated early.
Driscoll said the same thing to Steven earlier and then hit a flush on the river. Now he needs a king or a queen or he's gone.
The river card is a 5, and Steven knocks out 2 opponents with his flush. Driscoll gone in 39th place. And Tusteson eliminated in 40th. Each win over $206,000.
They forgot to use their one time.
So much for early celebration, huh?
You should gloat more after you win, dude. You should gloat more after you win.
Testy goodbye exchange.
Brandon Steven dispatches a pair of opponents, and this main event field is now down to just 38 players. Back inside the Rio in the 2010 main event here at the feature table, where the Grinder, the last of the 4 Mizrachi brothers that cashed at the main event, still sits. And of course, he's got the support of his wife Lily and brother Robert and other friends, all showing their support. Joining the table now is Theo Jorgensen. He began the day as the chip leader, but gave up almost all his chips when he doubled up Soy Wen.
You got the best table in the house.
Here. This is the best table in the house.
Yeah. Most exciting.
I find Matt Affleck to be exciting.
Ace deuce for Matt Affleck.
To me, Affleck is a cross between Evel Knievel and Wile E. Coyote.
Affleck from under the gun raises to $250.
And $9 million to the winner? That is exciting.
Theo says this table's not so exciting. He folds. David Baker now with pocket kings. That's exciting.
Baker finished 3rd this year in a World Series no-limit event that had 3,000 entrants, so he knows how to navigate a large field.
He's going to repop it to 875. William Thorson, the Swedish pro, with King Jack of Diamonds.
I'll raise.
He announces raise.
2.2 million.
Wow, he loves to put the pressure on. 2.2 million.
Thorson is a gambling man. If I could be William Thorson line for just half a day, the damage I could do.
All right, so now the big re-raise back to Affleck.
Can't do anything stupid now, at least.
He folds his ace deuce.
I'm all in.
Baker re-raise is all in for over $4 million.
Feel free to let it go.
Give me 90 seconds.
Take as long as you need.
I don't think Thorson needs to think too long.
I will never call the clock on you.
He knows Baker's not going to be pushing that many chips in without a big hand.
Thorson gives up the hand and gives up the chips to David Baker.
Well, Thorson took a hit there, but at least he cut his losses.
Baker $5 million to the good for the day, while Thorson is down to just $6.3 million. This is a game of making moves at the right time. Done at the wrong time, it can be expensive. To the outer tables once again as the field of 38, maybe 37 if Joseph Cheong's hand holds up on the river. His kings have Nicolas Babel's 10s in trouble.
Babel, 36-year-old French pro, has to have a 10.
It is a 9 on the river, and kings up for Cheong will knock off Nicolas Babel in 38th place.
And the 24-year-old pro from San Diego is working his hoodie towards a bigger payday.
Babel with a nice payday of over $206,000. Cheong now creeping up on the chip leader Soy Wen. He's approaching $19 million. Over to Pascal Lafrancois, a French-Canadian who just put out a bet on the turn against Eduardo Paris. Paris calls the $730,000.
You know, Lon, it's cold in here, but it's not Arctic cold. Lose the hoodies.
All right, to the river card. 5 of hearts. Paris first to act, he checks. Lafrancois with over $1.8 million. Paris folds, top 2 pair face up. Lafrancois takes that pot.
Lafrancois friends with fellow Quebecer Jonathan Duhamel, both like the hoodie look.
Back to Ben Stotts and a hand with Bren Kenny. Action to Kenny after a flop of Queen Trade Deuce 2 clubs.
This is Kenny's 4th cash at this World Series.
The New York Poker Pro with a bet of $640,000. Stotts will stick with him. Turn card is an 8 of clubs, 3rd club on board.
Kenny actually has 7 lifetime cashes here, all top 50 finishes.
And he is reaching for chips. Kenny bets $1,060,000.
I'm all in.
Ben Stotts now raises Kenny all in.
That stops Kenny in his tracks.
Does Stotts have it? Can he think so? He lays it down.
The New York amateur gets the better of the New York pro.
Boy, Bryn Kenny now left with just over $3 million. Stotts up over $11 million. That's good for fourth place for Ben, who first began playing poker to get out of chores, but the game has since changed his life in more ways than one.
My dad and I used to go fishing at this cottage, and we used to play poker to see who would do the dishes. And I hate doing dishes, so pretty quickly I learned how to beat him. And then I just sort of got into it. And then eventually I started playing a lot online, and that's where I met Annie Duke. She was one of my opponents, and we just started chatting, and we realized we had a friend in common. And she was like, oh yeah, you know, if you want lessons, you know, you should let me know. And I said, okay, I would love lessons. So she coached me for a while. It's pretty cool. When I was moving to New York, she said, oh yeah, let me introduce you to my sister. We all went out to dinner, and Katie and I became pretty good friends. And then about 6 months ago, I guess, we started dating. But it's great to have Katie around because she is so used to seeing, you know, high stakes poker. Annie's been a great coach throughout, and Howard and Susie have been good hosts. I think I'm a little in shock. Every day this tournament, I wake up and I'm like, wow, I'm still here. I hope that I make the final table, and if I do, I really hope that my family and friends and all the letterers will come out and support me. I think they will.
Stotts just got his master's in finance from NYU. If you're dating a letterer, you've got to be really smart. And Katie's a wonderful writer. Her memoir of growing up in a family of gamblers, Poker Face, is a great read.
Looking at our tournament update with the elimination of Doug Palovich, we're down to just 36 players. Now back to table 2, Johnny Lawden watching as young Michael Wyrot is willing to risk being finisher number 36. He shoved pre-flop with ace tray off. Action to fellow potential record breaker Mikhail Sipkins.
Yeah, the two youngest players here.
Wyrot raised to 1.8 million. Sipkins has ace king.
I call.
No! Norman, I'd venture to say Wyrot didn't want to call.
Well, the two players who could still eclipse Joe Cotto's record as youngest main event champ ever lock horns.
3-3-3 on flop, no sweat.
Big ace trying to take out the small ace. All right, here's the flop. Jack 7-6. Wyrot gets no help.
I don't want to go out like this.
Take it like a man, son.
Turn card now. Wyrot looking for help. 8 of spades. Sipkins is still ahead.
Wyrot has to have a 3 or his main event is over.
The river card is a 9, and Sipkins wins the hand. Wyrot gone.
Boy, that looks like a giraffe and a zebra trying to hug.
Yeah, good luck, man. Good luck.
There we go. That's a little better technique.
Filippo Candio giving a congratulations to Wyrot. Sipkins now over 8 million chips, good for 9th place, while Michael Wyrot heads home. His quest to make poker history has come to an end. Back at the Rio, where we have just lost another player, Gabe Costner was eliminated in 35th place by Bryn Kenny. Costner had doubled up Ben Stotts. He pushed all in with 10s. Kenny paired his ace and knocked out Costner. Kenny up to almost 6 million chips now. Let's get back to Jason Sentai. He's in good shape to knock out Edward Oshana. Sentai paired his king, and he's ahead.
Oshana needs a runner miracle to stick around.
Turn card is an ace, and that will do it. Ace is up for Sentai, finishes off Oshana in 34th place.
Sentai put the big hurt on Oshana earlier with that rivered straight. Sentai running good, or as he says, running well.
This guy is unstoppable here on day 7. Back over to table 2, Italy's Filippo Candio bet 315,000 on the turn with 10s and 4s. With trip 4s, Patrick Skander raised to 940. Action on Brandon Stephen, who recently joined this table. He folds his king high. Candio calls. Heads up to the river. Skander way ahead. It's a deuce of spades, 4th spade on board. Neither player has a spade.
Candio was first drawn to poker while watching it on TV. Now he's on TV.
I'm all in.
And that big stack bet's enough to put Skander all in.
I gotta buy a yacht so I can catch these frickin' rivers. Oh my God.
This decision is for Skander's main event. He knows if he calls and Candio has a flush, he's gone.
How much you got? No, I'm just kidding.
You hate to call off your chips.
6.
Skander folds his trips with no spade, and Candio shows his hand and takes the pot.
I can't risk it, I mean, with that frickin' board.
I'm with him on that.
If you just pushed call every time instead of fold, you would have...
Goes all in. I can't do that. I want to go out, just
even though I think I have the best hand.
Unless Skander was 90% certain Candio was posturing, I say lay it down as he did and save your 20 big blinds.
Candio once a chip leader in this tournament, now in 4th place. Back to the feature table action on another former chip leader, Theo Jorgensen. Jorgensen very subdued after giving up most of his stack to Soy Win. He looks down at 5-4. He still doesn't think the table's very exciting. Corey Emery with pocket sixes.
He's a security guard from Simi Valley, California.
He calls for 100,000. Mizrachi, 9-8 offsuit.
The 9 of diamonds is known as the Curse of Scotland, Lon. Don't know why. I'm not making that up.
Wow, I better be worried. I'm part Scottish. Mizrachi called. Affleck in the big blind with pocket deuces. Checks his option.
Do you know what the deuce of diamonds is known as?
No.
The deuce of diamonds.
Oh, man, you had me worried. 3 players will see the flop for the minimum. It is Trey 6-7. Emery with a set of sixes. Mizrachi picked up an up and down straight draw.
Check.
He checks it to Affleck, drawing very thin.
Well, here comes my boy with his 1% hand.
175,000. Into Emery with his set, and he just calls. Michael comes along as well.
Yeah, the big hand calls, the big draw calls.
Turn card is a 10, and Mizrachi hits his straight to the 10. He checks. Affleck drawing dead. He checks.
My boy slows down, thank goodness. Emery's got to love this spot, but it could be his undoing.
He does bet 450,000.
You try to bet premium hands for value. If you're grinder here, you just don't move all in. You make a bet that's going to get called and win some chips.
Michael looking a little nervous as he check raises to $1,050,000.
Of course, here a grinder all in probably would get called by Emery.
Affleck folds.
I'm all in.
I call.
Emery all in, and a snap call from Mizrachi to put Corey at risk.
And Corey Emery just ran into a cooler.
Michael Mizrachi, one card from a knockout and a big pot, and that brings the Mizrachis to life.
Emery does have outs. He needs the board to pair, or Corey Emery will be gone.
River card does not pair the board. Corey Emery knocked out from this main event in 33rd place. He'll take home $255,000. Well done, Corey.
And a tough hand to end a great run for the amateur.
Grinder getting the high fives from the family. He's over $7 million again.
Get him, get him.
And that's got to worry everyone in the room. Andy Block considered one of the best to have not won a bracelet, a distinction he shared with Michael Mizrachi until this year when Grinder won the Poker Players Championship. Michael back over $7 million where he started this day. Over to John Racener from Tampa, Florida with pocket jacks.
Racener very superstitious. He gets a room service bacon, egg, and cheese croissant every morning. He eats half of it, and when he takes the elevator to the Amazon room, even if the down button is already pushed, he pushes it again.
Racener raised it to $235,000. Thorson folds 10-8 to the Grinder, who also has 10-8.
We actually have several superstitious players left in the field, and I'm superstitious, Lon. For instance, I don't answer the phone if I know it's you.
Folded over to Dewey Lay in the big blind. Queen 10 of clubs.
Lay, another superstitious pro, same hoodie, same jeans, every day at the main event, and he eats a quesadilla every morning here and goes to the same Thai restaurant every night.
Eats a quesadilla in the morning? Lay calls, he'll go heads up with Racener. The flop is 9-8-5. Racener's jacks are still ahead, but are susceptible to danger. Lay picked up a gut shot.
Racener also gets a cranberry juice when he gets off the elevator. He should have had a V8.
Lay checked, Racener checks. Turn card now is a queen. Lay takes the lead. Racener with a gut shot to the case 10.
I hope Lay can still breathe behind there.
Lay checked it. Racener now. Oh, I think he still likes his pocket jacks. And he bets 345. Lay behind the mask gently puts out the call.
Yeah, Lay has a pulse. And Racener learning the folly of pocket jacks.
The river card is a tray. Lay with the check mark with those queens. And he checks again. Racener.
Racener now chewing on those pocket jacks.
Oh boy, Racener reaching for chips. And he is going to bet it again, 435.
He bets 1/3 of the pot.
Lay now with the best hand, spreads out a call. Racener turns over his pocket jacks, but they're second best to the queens of Dewey Lay. And the curse of pocket jacks strikes again, Norman.
Lay might enjoy his Thai dinner tonight. And Racener left with the other half of his bacon croissant.
John, once a chip leader here on day 7, is now down for the day, while Dewey Lay is up more than $2 million here on day 7. All right, let's get back out into the field. We find Scott Clements with a chance to knock out Eduardo Parras. Clements with a set of kings leading Parras and his pocket jacks and a gut shot as we go to the river.
Parras has to have a non-spade 10.
The river card is a tray of hearts, and Clements with his set of kings destroys the pocket jacks of Eduardo Parras and sends him home in 32nd place.
And now Scott Clements, one of the best players in this room, comfortably over chip average.
In 9th place, over to Michael Skinder, once again all in, but behind. Skinder's king, queen of diamonds, trailing Jason Sentai's pocket nines. Who can beat Sentai today?
Double up. It would be a small double up. Skinder down to 5 big blinds.
All right, here's the flop now. Skinder at risk, and it's queen 6 tray. Skinder pairs his queen. He's a tough fish to fry.
Still in, guys. 2 cards away, still in.
All right, now the turn card is another tray. Skinder 1 card from a double up.
Skinder just needs to dodge a 9 to double up and stick around.
And the river card is the 9. Sentai's long shot comes through and sends Michael Skinder to the rail.
Game over.
The German basketball pro takes the loss at the buzzer.
He had the misfortune of running into Jason Sentai, who was running so hot today here on day 7.
Hey, it was a pleasure, man.
Michael Skinder certainly left quite an impression on the 2010 main event. Now it's time to lace him up and get back to shooting hoops. Back at the Rio, just 30 players remain. Let's take a look at how some of the stacks are shaping up on the PokerStars.net chip count. Soy Win still leads. He's got some company with Joseph Cheong, and what a run Jason Sentai's been on. At the bottom of the barrel, John Dolan, Hassan Habib, and the shortest stack, Johnny Lawton. For Sentai, who began the day as a short stack, all those chips have to be music to his ears, and music is something he knows a lot about.
My band, we're called Suburban Hero. Been playing in a band for the last 8 years. I play guitar and sing, and it's just a lot of fun. I guess we like to consider ourselves like melodic rock. We meet, once a week, practice for an hour or so, and then we play gigs, once a month. We were pushing hard to maybe try and make it a few years ago. We still would like to, have some more success. I guess I put myself in a dumb spot there. For my poker career. It is tough on the band. I won? I know they don't love it, but they understand this is what I do as a career now. It's not always easy for people to understand that if they don't understand poker and the variance involved. Each year I've left for 6 weeks, tell them, sorry, we can't take gigs, can't practice, and then I come back and they go, how'd you do? I lost a bunch of money. Because that's what's gonna happen most years at the World Series. So I guess at least this year, hopefully I'll come back and they'll be like, well, now they finally understand why I'm going for it, I guess.
Jason was an electrical software engineer, but quit his job in 2007 because poker had become too lucrative.
Over now to our chip leader, Soy Win. He's mixing it up with Rob Pisano. Pisano just bet $750,000 on the turn.
Win has not quit his job. He still works for a medical supplies distributor, and he keeps frustrating the pros.
And on the paired board, he check raises to $2 million, and Pisano lays it down.
Win, an amateur in his 4th live tournament, chip leader with 30 players left in the main event.
Pisano now below chip average with $5.5 million. Win adds to his chip lead. He is now approaching $22 million. That's amazing. Over now to the guy right behind Win on the leaderboard, Joseph Cheong, who's in a hand with Scott Clements on a board of Queen 6-5 deuce. Cheong bet $735,000. Clements called. 4 of diamonds on the river.
After calling Clements' pre-flop raise, Cheong is let out on every street.
And it looks like he'll do so here. $1,675,000.
Clements, 2 bracelets in Omaha events, but he has become a very good Hold'em player.
Clements with a lot of chips does make the call.
That's a crying call.
Cheong says he has a straight, turns over 4 tray for a turn straight.
From 4 trays suited in the big blind to once again chip leader.
Scott has had a very good day 7, but he gives up over $3 million of that stack to Cheong, who now sits atop the leaderboard with over $24 million.
Who are these people?
Back over to table 2, where short-stacked Johnny Lawton has moved all in with ace-5, called by Jonathan Duhamel, who's got the better kicker with ace-9.
Lawton down to 13 big blinds. Battle of the suited aces, battle of the hoodies.
All right, now, Laden at risk. Here is the flop. It is deuce, deuce, queen. Duhamel's kicker gives him a slight edge.
Laden can't argue with that flop. It gives him a decent chance of chopping this pot.
Turn card now is a 6. Duhamel, a 2-1 favorite now.
Half the deck, and they will split the pot. Ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 6, or deuce, and it's a chop. With a 5, Laden wins. Otherwise, he's gone.
And there's a queen, and they'll chop it up with queens and deuces and the ace kicker. Laden will survive. No blood for Duhamel, who still is in 4th place.
Laden has the sniffles, so he won't celebrate his chopped pot survival.
Laden will get to keep his seat, and he's still in the running. Let's get back to the featured table and the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
I just started getting wildcard hand tutoring from Mike Matiso.
Action on Johnny Laden's buddy, William Thorson. He looks down at a king, and the ace of spades, the prettiest card in the deck.
I would marry that card, Lon, but I don't want to sign another prenup.
Thorson raises to $250,000 to Michael Mizrachi. And you're going to have to put yourself in a Mizrachi state of mind, Norman.
Well, we've seen so much of Grinder, Lon. I should know how he plays by now.
Grinder in the cutoff seat makes the call.
I'll put him on a weaker ace, ace 10 or ace 9. And I just read Robert's lips. He's also putting Grinder on an ace 10 or ace 9.
All right, don't go heads up against Thorson.
How much you playing?
Ask him how much he's playing.
Around 7 too. 7? Like 6.8.
Pretty even stacks. Here's the flop, ace 10, 9. Thorson with top pair, top kicker. How about Grinder?
We'll see.
Thorson checks.
Good flop for Thorson, but he does check it. And I obviously think Grinder has aces and 10s or aces or 9s. How stupid do I look?
Michael bets $400,000. Thorson's gonna come along.
Thorson thought about raising there. You know, I love getting tutored by Mike DeMouth. He's such a gentle instructor.
Turn card, 8 of hearts. Thorson, first to act with top pair. He checks.
Thorson playing this one passively out of position.
Michael checks.
Grinder might be stutter stepping there with aces up, hoping Thorson takes a stab at the pot on the river.
River card is another 10.
If Grinder had the ace 10, he's got a full house. If he's got ace 9, Thorson now has him outkicked.
Thorson with aces up does bet at $875.
Thorson's not posturing. He thinks he has the best hand.
Raise.
What did I tell you? If he's raising, Grinder might have 10s full of aces. We've seen Grinder bluff the river when he misses his draw, but we haven't seen him bluff raise. I think he's got the goods.
Michael makes it $2.3 million.
I just read Robert's lips again. He said my stinking little brother has 10s full.
So back to Thorson now.
Thorson's been going in reverse lately.
What do you got there? Huh? What do you have?
What do you have?
Something nice. 2 nice cards. You have 2 nice cards too?
I've got to write down this dialogue.
It's got potential.
Good potential. Okay, I fold.
That convinces Thorson to fold.
I think that's another good read by Thorson.
William shows his hand. Will Michael reciprocate? Thorson gets a peek. Grinder shows pocket 9s for a rivered boat. You were partially right, Norman. Michael wins the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand.
I got to make him feel a little better. I don't want to be tilted.
I work with Matiso already paying dividends. Maybe I'll hire him as my life coach.
Thorson, the former chip leader, under $5 million. The Grinder now has cracked the top 10 with over 9 million chips. Out in the field, new bracelet winner LaFrancois with pocket 8s, about to see a flop against Bryn Kenny's King Jack, and there's an 8 for a set for LaFrancois. Pascal checks. Kenny with King High bets $400,000.
Kenny getting short stacked postures.
LaFrancois loves to see that and just makes the call.
By the way, when LaFrancois won his bracelet, he went shirtless for the winner's photo at the table.
That king pairs Kenny, but LaFrancois earns the check mark, and he checks again.
Kenny now can bet with a hand, a pair of kings. Of course, he's drawn dead.
And with that top pair, bets $480,000. LaFrancois just calls again.
Just another smooth call. I hope he keeps his shirt on.
The river card now. Oh, and that's a nasty jack. King's up for Kenny, which of course is no good. LaFrancois checks again.
$1,300,000.
$1,300,000 from Kenny. LaFrancois calls immediately, and he'll take that 5 million chip pot. LaFrancois approaching 15 million.
Worst case scenario for Kenny, he hit good cards while drawing dead, and now he's crippled.
Meanwhile, a terrific day 7 for LaFrancois.
I'm just happy he keeps the hoodie on.
He's in third place now. All right, let's get back over to table 2. Patrick Skander, with a flopped pair of 10s and a straight draw, is leading the pocket fives of Mads Vissing after the turn. Vissing just bet $700,000 into Skander.
Ah, what the hell.
And he makes the call.
Bad attitude.
Taking it every time.
River card now, tray of diamonds.
There's your flush.
I don't have a flush.
Skander does have the check mark with 10s.
Unfreaking believable every time.
If you think negative thoughts, negative stuff usually happens.
600.
Skander does bet $600,000.
I don't get that. He whines and then he bets?
Vissing is perplexed.
The pain. The speech, the pain. Yeah.
You're gonna freaking go on top of that. I know how you play.
You kidding me? I would fold a set in this, bud.
Vissing lays down.
Show your flush, everybody.
No flush.
Well, it was a value bet bluff with the best hand, so it turns out Skander was Hollywooding it with the moaning, pretending to have a better hand than he did.
Skander up over $8 million as we go back to the featured table where Grinder has also been on the upswing. You see on the chip chart, it's been a rocky road for him. At one point, he was down to $1.5 million.
But they don't call him Grinder for nothing. He chipped away and chipped away, recently won 2 big pots, and now finds himself in the top 10. By the way, this chart also reflects my current marriage.
Grinder once again a bigger factor in this main event. He's over chip average. The same cannot be said for Jorgensen, who has not recovered from that big hit.
Are you planning to take a break from poker after this tournament?
I can't see myself ever play poker again after this.
I mean, like, after this?
What? I don't even know if I make it to the finals whether I'm going to play it or not.
That would be a novelty, skipping the November 9.
Action on Theo Jorgensen. Ace-king off.
Jorgensen used to be a blackjack, roulette, and poker dealer. Maybe he's just tired of gambling.
He does raise it to $250,000 from under the gun to Racener with ace-queen.
I wonder if Racener's been chewing the same piece of gum for 7 days.
He makes the call. William Thorson now looks down at pocket deuces.
I don't think Thorson ever gets tired of gambling, though he says he doesn't want to spend his entire life day in and day out playing cards.
And he will make the call with the smallest pocket pair. Mizrachi on the button with 10-4. And he'll check out. Now in the big blind, Dewey Lay. He's got a 9 of clubs and a 10 of diamonds.
I don't think Lay can resist putting 150,000 chips into a pot that's already $1 million.
3 players in before him. He's got the right odds. He makes the call.
They're here to gamble, Lon.
4 players. Jorgensen favored with his ace-king. Here's the flop. It is 4-6 ace. All clubs. Jorgensen with top pair, top kicker. Racener with the best club draw. Lay checks his inferior club draw. And now Jorgensen bets $1 million. Racener raises to $2 million.
Racener with a min raise.
Thorson and Lay fold.
All in.
Theo re-raises.
I call.
And Racener calls to put him at risk.
I might be drawing dead.
Jorgensen actually the favorite, but he's in a precarious position. He started day 7 as the chip leader. Now he's at risk.
God, I would have loved to have the king of clubs there.
Turn card now is a queen of hearts. Racener takes the lead with aces up.
Racener should blow himself a bubble. He is poised for the knockout.
Theo seems resigned to his apparent fate.
Jorgensen will need a non-club king, or the one-time chip leader is wamboozled.
It's a 9 on the river. Racener wins the hand. Theo Jorgensen knocked out of the main event.
We just heard him talking about how he might not show up at the final table. Well, he doesn't have to worry about that now.
The Danish pro who danced his way into our hearts as chip leader goes out meekly here on day 7.
It was fun to watch him play.
He wins over $255,000. John Racener now up to over 9.8 million chips. We're just 2 players away from the final 27. Back inside the Rio, the outer tables have just lost another player. Gianni DiRenzo is our 29th place finisher. He will take home over $255,000. He handed all his chips over to Rob Pisano, who is now back over 8 million.
Pisano, another former chip leader.
We're just 1 player away from the final 27 and the end of day 7. The chip average right now, 7.8 million.
Woo! 1 more, guys. Finish his day off.
Maybe he'll change sweatshirts. And Matt Affleck will have to find another Seattle jersey to wear. He's run out of them.
On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky pocket cam, Matt with 8-7 of spades.
He might run out of jerseys, but he never runs out of gamble.
He's not running out of chips so far this year, a raise to $275,000.
Matt gets feisty under the gun with suited connectors.
The blind's up to 60 and 120,000. Thorson folded. Grinder with 10-6 of clubs.
It's been the year of the Mizrakis, and Michael trying to make it the year of the Grinder.
From the big blind, Michael makes the call. He'll go heads up with Matt Affleck. And here is the flop. It is deuce 7. Deuce Affleck with 7s and deuces. Mizraki first to act. He missed that, and he checks. Matt checks.
Sweet kid, sweet check.
Turn card is another 7. Affleck with the check mark. He improves to 7s full. Michael picked up a flush draw. And he's got chips in hand. $330,000.
Deja vu all over again. Grinder picks up a draw on the turn and bets it.
Any Grinder action has the family on edge. Affleck with the best hand raises to 930.
I raise.
Michael's going to re-raise it. $1,630,000.
Grinder with a misstep here. He sensed Affleck was making a move, so he has 3 bet it drawn dead.
Affleck with the call.
And you know, if a club comes on the river, Grinder's main event could be over.
The river card is not a club, and that might save Grinder. Mizraki, once again, with his missed flush now, bets 920.
Deja vu all over again. Again, Grinder misses his draw, bets the river. He's addicted to that move.
Call. Matt calls.
Just a call?
No, you're raising 7? Yeah.
And that's a 5.8 million chip pot for Matt.
You go, Matt. And the Mizraki temporary housing complex is silenced.
Grinder gave up nearly 3 million chips, down below chip average again. Matt Affleck up to over 12 million. That puts him in 6th place.
I am so proud of him.
Let's head back to table 2 once again because Johnny Lawden is once again all in and once again trailing Jonathan Duhamel. Lawden's ace-jack coming up short against the ace-king of Duhamel. Lawden needs some help.
Lawden only 11 big blinds left, and once again he has the weaker ace than Duhamel.
All right, Lawden at risk. Here's the flop. It is Queen 6-6. Duhamel with his ace-king keeps Lawden in need.
How are you going to chop this?
This one not likely to be chopped, and Lawden in trouble.
The turn card now. That's a queen, and that does open the door to a chop.
Well, now it's almost certain to be chopped.
As I say that.
Only an ace or a king would knock out Johnny Lawden.
Lawden awaiting his fate on the river. It is a 10, and Lawden will survive with a chop pot again.
Does the chop pot want these two just tie the knot? There's a wedding chapel everywhere you look here. Duhamel cannot rid himself of Johnny Lawden, so just make him an honest man.
Lawden's still a very short stack with 1.6 million. Out in the field, 2 others we can't separate. One who may be our 28th place finisher, Bryn Kinney, all in with deuces, called by Pascal Lafrancois with pocket aces.
So Kenny at risk of going out and getting us down to our final 27.
Kenny the underdog in his Bambi and Godzilla battle of pocket pairs. Here's the flop. It is 6-4 ace. Lafrancois hits a set.
Boy, day 7 is darkened in a hurry for Bryn Kenny. Only running cards will save him now.
Turn card 9 of clubs, and that will end it. Lafrancois takes the hand. Kenny drawing dead and is our 28th place finisher.
Bryn Kenny is out, and Pascal Lafrancois is on a roll.
A good payday for Kenny. Lafrancois now with almost 16 million, and everyone knows we're down to our final 3 tables.
Down to the final 27, Lon, and what a journey it's been.
A well-deserved celebration at the end of the night, but still a lot of poker to be played. 7,319 began, now just 27 remain.
Day 8, baby, day 8.
Day 7 had several chip leaders, but right now, Joseph Cheong is the one that tops them all.
You never dreamed about winning this tournament, so just a little step closer.
Friends William Thorson and Johnny Lawden carry on, as do Jason Sentai and Ben Stotts.
I'm using my one time right now. One time.
4 bracelet winners are still in the running for the ultimate bracelet. Among them, Michael Mizraki, whose remarkable World Series keeps going.
Get him, bro, get him.
Next time, it's day 8. Until then, for Norman Chat, I'm Lon McCarran. Thanks for watching the World Series of Poker.